Before I call upon our esteemed Mr. President to come up on stage, I want everybody to do me a favor. Everyone, take out your phones. Take out your phones. Hold it up in the air. Put it on your cameras. Turn on your cameras. Put it on your cameras. Everybody, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Everyone, please welcome our president, Mr. Rex. And this is the first time in my life that I've seen him not in a suit. So this may be the only time you get an opportunity to get this shot, everyone. So, everyone, let's welcome our president, Mr. Rex.
Thank you, man. Good afternoon, everybody. So, I have been ordered by my former Vice President, Raj, to keep it short. And so, yes, sir, Mr. Raj, I shall keep it short. Lieutenant Commander Juan, my dear friend and our esteemed speaker today, thank you for accepting our invitation, sir. Our beloved past presidents, members of the board, our dear members, and your wonderful families, welcome to today's event. We really, truly appreciate your being here. Again, I'm going to keep this extremely short. My job is to welcome you today. Today's activity is probably the most significant and important event our chamber will ever have. Simply because today's event will actually help save lives. And we are very glad to have been able to organize such an event. We would have wanted to have more people showing up. We have 130 people here today. So after today's event, and if you think that it was significant and you learned a lot, please tell the rest. And if we need to call around too, we'd be happy to do it. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce to all of you Manisha Swami. Manisha, could you please stand up? Manisha is our first secretary of our Indian Embassy in the Philippines. She's been in Manila for a month, and she was welcomed by the earthquake that we just had. And so she's under instructions of our dear ambassador to listen very carefully, because the embassy is also looking at coming up with some kind of a holistic disaster management preparedness plan for the community. So once again, welcome everybody. Thank you for being here, and I will get the program going. Mahesh, sir, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Again, once again, everyone, let's give our very hardworking, good-looking, casual president a round of applause, please. Okay, so we have a lot to listen to, we have a lot to learn, and it's a very serious topic that is very fresh in our minds because of what has recently happened in our country. So without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, our guest speaker is a Naval Reserve officer in the Philippine Navy with rank of Lieutenant Commander. He has extensive experience in humanitarian assistance and disaster response since 2004. At present, he is a senior consultant for corporate resilience for several corporations and commercial estate developments such as Bonifacio Global City and several of the posh residential communities in the country. So without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome our guest speaker today, Lieutenant Commander Ferdinand Juan.
How is that? Thank you. All right, we'll get going very soon. Let me stand here. Okay. Rex, thank you. Rex and I go way back, LaSalle Sobel, when he requested my company to help LaSalle Sobel get their disaster preparedness, especially for the students. And Rex, you don't know, because of that, I was invited. There was one parent there who was from Assumption. Then we went to Assumption. And for the first time in history, according to the nuns, I was the only man allowed to enter the dorm of the all-girls dorm I think that's on the 4th floor. And then we grew from there. And so, thanks to you, Rex, actually, when Rex called a few weeks ago, no ifs and buts. Game, let's do this. Okay? And I'm really happy that you invited me here. So I titled it, I Will Survive. Let me just play a short video because I signed up, I was, I would say, invited or requested by the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines, CAP, the airports, to help them come up with their business continuity. It's called Continuity of Government Plan. Okay? A week later, That was April 15. 7 days later, the earthquake happens. And you all know what happened to Clark. So, very quick video just to show you what is a 6.1 magnitude earthquake. Okay, just a quick introduction of who I am. I'm a resource speaker for today. I'm Lieutenant Commander Ferdinand Juan, but please, we're not in the military camps. Just call me Dino. I'm a naval reservist. I've been doing this since 2004. I'm a senior consultant for disaster resilience. And as earlier said, I do places like BGC, Bonifacio Global City. As you well know, we don't even have a fire department there. I do continuity of operation. And lately, I've been doing a lot of corporate, challenging their business continuity plan. And frankly, the news is going around that I've been making business continuity plans crash because of what's the realities of what's going on. As you see, I'm also a victim of disaster right over there. This is during Ondoy. I live in Quezon City in a place called Loyola Grand Villas. So we got hit pretty bad by Ondoy. And the fault line also passes through my village. And this is in Tacloban because my mom, during Yolanda, because my mother is from Tacloban. She's a Waray. So we were forced to fly there and help out. And the last picture here with our American counterparts during Balikatan. You see, they say the Americans are here to train us. Actually, it's the other way around. They're here to learn from us, especially when it comes to disaster. As you see here, they invite me every time to give them a briefing, and they learn from how resilient the Filipinos are. And to be honest, we're the laboratory of disasters. We're third in the world. And that is why, things are really getting pretty bad. So just a house rules, just before we start. We're running on a tight schedule. Please park your questions for later. I will even stay behind and for those with the clarifications. Mobile phones in silent mode, because every time I hear a phone ring, it reminds me of my mother-in-law, my greatest disaster, calling. And there are no scheduled drills this hour. I checked with the hotel. So in case you hear the alarm, that's the real thing. Okay, so there's no fire drills scheduled for today. And of course, find out where the exits are. I just feel like I'm a flight FAC here. There are the exit doors in case of emergency. And the restroom breaks, you know where it is. You don't have to raise your hand. Just go out if you have to. And handouts are given. Actually, I saw it on the table. Okay, please bring this home. We made this. We Filipinized this, meaning if you go through the internet through Google Academy and YouTube University, there are a lot of information, but it's not meant for our local condition. I have seen go bags with winter jackets inside. So we made this more for Philippine conditions setting. It doesn't matter what's your background. This is more for Philippines. Okay. So bring that home. If we didn't print this out and I put this in my slides, we'll be going home tomorrow, because disaster preparedness is quite an extensive subject. So relax. It's going to be stressful, but relax and learn. Okay. I will make it fun. So guidebooks is given out as earlier as advice. Today you'll learn about the 7 basic needs to survive. 7. And we'll go through this one by one later, very quickly, but at least you know very well. And people say, oh, money is there, of course. We're business people, we need money and humans. So we'll deal with this a little later. And then, ladies and gentlemen and children, these are all the disasters in our country. First, you call it hazards. You don't call it disasters. You call it hazards. When we're overwhelmed, we can't handle it anymore, that becomes a disaster. Okay? So very basic. We have the typhoon, the floods, storm surge, and eruption. These are the predictables because of technology. You can tell when it's coming. In fact, our kids are the first one to know if there's a typhoon because they want to find out if there's classes tomorrow. Right? What scares me is the earthquake, tsunami, fire, and landslides. There's no technology yet to tell you it's going to come. But of course, there are signs. But this is the most, for me, traitor. Just happened big time, sudden, no announcement. Tornadoes. The other day, somebody posted on I think there was a big tornado, remember? And because everybody now has cell phones with cameras, they get to record it and post it on Facebook. Pandemic, it's just really a matter of time that, you also travel. You're business people, you're businessmen, you travel. And it's just really a matter of time that even we get hit here from abroad. We have dengue, of course, but I don't know if they're covering the story. Like Ebola is still active in Africa, see? So we had our own scare in the Asian region, bird flu, H1N1, remember? Okay, but terrorism, we all know, we're familiar. To be honest with you, anyway, these are just declassified materials already. 2 years ago, we caught a Middle Eastern BGC. A Syrian woman and a Kuwaiti man. The army beat us to it. They got them first. And of course, there's terrorism. Well, you all know about Marawi. It's really just a matter of time. They need to be heard again, and they will make their presence felt. And then finally, technology. What the United Nations did was to put anything man-made, internet crash, water shortage, okay, massive blackouts, a plane crash under technology because of human error. All right, so it doesn't get confusing. They put it in that category. Now, we have all of this here in the Philippines. But see, here in Metro Manila, where we are, obviously, we don't have eruption. We don't have any volcanoes here. Maybe you have to go to Tagaytay for that. Earthquake, tsunami, yes, we do. I just want to make it clear. Tsunamis happen if the earthquake is in the water. Okay, and I'll show that to you later. Fire can be an accident, fire can be arson, or fire started after an earthquake. Landslides, you say, no, we don't have. No, we do. Right on my neighborhood. The back of Ateneo, going all the way to White Plains, all the way to Pasig, where that Nipa Hat is, or Ultra or St. Paul, it's all going down. Those are prone to landslides. Antipolo, going up Antipolo is prone to landslides, okay? So maybe some of you here are from here in the Makati South area, all the way to Alabang. You're more in the flat grounds. Okay, to further, let's talk of, for today, the big ones with an S. Everybody's saying, oh, you heard of it, the big one? Well, it's actually media who coined the word the big one. But we put an S now because there are actually 2 big ones. Let me show it to you. The first one is out in the West Philippine Sea, the Manila Trench. It is so long from Ilocos all the way to Mindoro at the tip of Palawan. We're also, government or scientists are also watching this because Taiwan has been getting a lot. The continuation of this line, it goes all the way to Taiwan. And if this thing moves, it's going to create a 7.8 magnitude earthquake, similar to what happened in Japan. Remember the Fukushima? This is one that creates tsunamis. And according to scientists, it will go both ways, going to our western seaboard, and of course, it will also wash out our uninvited guests in the Spratlys. But the thing is, it will hit us too. And in Manila Bay, it will enter And because it's a cove, it will hit more of the area from Cultural US Embassy to Navotas, Malabon. And the water is about 2 meters high. It's about this high. But it will flow all the way to LaSalle Taft, to give you an idea. Okay? So that's a tsunami created by the earthquake. This is the Manila Trench. That you see it right there in the circled area. Manila is right here. The red dot is the Zambales earthquake a month ago. And the West Valley Fault, which we're right where we are, is just this small one here. Can you imagine how big this line is compared to that one? Anyway, let's go to that line. This is the Valley Fault system. There are two, the East and West. The East Valley Fault is only about 10 kilometers long. It's somewhere in the Montalban, San Mateo area. Okay? If that moves, it will create a magnitude 6, similar to what happened a month ago in Zambales. All right? The longer the line, the longer the fault, the stronger the shaking. It's just like your floor tiles. A small tile that breaks, but a big slab of marble tile breaks, you feel the whole ground shake. What's scary is the West Valley Fault. Starting from Bulacan, passes the Angat Dam, our water supply. All the way crosses here in Manila, passes this area, all the way to Las Piñas, all the way to the Tagaytay Ridge. Well, of course, it's all related to all the volcanic activities in Taal, the hot springs of Los Baños, all of this, okay? Now, this is what we are watching, this long, long line. Because when we started building the city, nobody knew there was a fault. Let's take a quick look. The West Valley Fault moved 4 times in the past 1,400 years, according to scientists. Its movement interval is about 350 to 400 years. There's a cycle. And last major earthquake was in the year 1658. That's because the Catholic priests were writing that there was an earthquake and it destroyed San Agustin Church, it destroyed Cathedral, but the Guadalupe Church in Makati was not destroyed. That's because Guadalupe is on adobe. San Agustin in Intramuros and in Manila Cathedral is in soft ground, liquefaction, malambot. It's like it's soft ground. It's by the bay. Okay, so they say that this is already due to move. That's because when you subtract 2019 less 1658 will give you 361 years within already the window of 350 to 400 years. Okay, this is my neighborhood. That is a rupture. Up there is LaSalle, Ateneo High School. This is Loyola Grand Villas. Just imagine those houses there. We thought all the while when we moved here, wow, beautiful rolling terrain. You have a beautiful view of Marikina Valley. Well, we brought in Feebox to do the walk the fault. And the people of Feebox with all their equipment said, no, sir, this is your fault line. So apparently, you had the wrong image of an earthquake because of all these Hollywood movies. San Andreas Fault. Remember the bald guy, The Rock? Remember that, Rex? Looks like me. I thought the ground will open up. Apparently, it's not our case. It's not like it's going to open up and swallow you. No, it's not. It's going to, because of the tremendous pressure, it's going to crack, it's going to break. One will snap up, the other will go down. So in case it moves again, it's about 5 meters. Let's hope that it will just slide off, maybe a few feet. But this, we're talking about 5 meters. And according to the Feebox, it's not a slow motion movement. It's not like, oh, it's raking, it's moving. No, it's going to be a sudden boom, snap. It's like you were thrown, like when you throw rice. Okay, it's not a slow motion. Remember, this is a buildup of pressure. But here's the thing. Today you'll go home knowing where are the faults. And I'll teach you a very simple trick. You will know today if you will go home or not. You will know today if you'll be stranded at work. You will know today if your kids might be left in school because which roads will be blocked, locked, unpassable, and which bridges might go. Okay? Because anywhere the fault moves or passes, expect something like this. Now, check out the next picture. This is Bohol in 2013, the Bohol earthquake that also destroyed Cebu. Remember that? Even the Chocolate Hills. Well, look at that. It's a fresh rupture. Look at the size of the people. Very fresh. Okay? Taken right after the earthquake. Oh, check this out. We put them together. I don't know. I couldn't. If you can see it, West Valley Fault, August 20, 1658. Oh, by the way, they even have a date. Apparently, the Augustinian priests were writing it down that there was an earthquake, August 20, 1658. And here is Bohol. So look at the similarity. of a 7.2 ground rupture. You get it now? You understand? So don't believe that the Earth's going to open up like this and you're going to fall in there. No, it's a movement up and down because now the Pacific side is pushing, going to the European side, and that which made the beautiful islands of the Philippines. So, last September 29, 2014 at 7:25 p.m., there was an episode, and all of this you can research in Google. For the first time after 350-something years, the West Valley Fault moved. This is the reason why government is suddenly on the preparedness mode. In fact, during the time of the past government, people were saying, oh, they're just making noise because of all this scandal. Then how come even the embassies are preparing? Even ADB is preparing. The multinationals are preparing. Red Cross is preparing. Media is preparing. It's because there was already a precursor. They call it a precursor. Precursor in Tagalog, it's like nag-uunat-unat, they call it. Or when you break a chopstick, when the breaking point, you hear that crackling sound. This is it. It's right there. This is from the website. Possible source, West Valley Fault. Magnitude 2. You can't feel that. When you cut and paste the longitude, latitude, for those who likes using Waze or Google Earth, get this, when you go to Google later, cut and paste and bring it to Google Earth or Google Map. It will take you to this location right there, consistent to the fault line. And this area is Ortigas, Valle 5, Valle 6, there's Meralco over there, a hospital over here. I don't want to name the hospital because I still go there. Okay, so after 350-something years, there was a precursor. Kobe, Japan, had a precursor. Bohol earthquake had precursors, meaning little earthquakes before the big one. It's just like, imagine you're trying to break a bamboo or chopstick with all that pressure and you hear that first crack. This is it. So it's pretty much, that's why everybody's in the preparedness mode. Now, yours truly was very fortunate enough, a month and a half later, Malacanang called for a closed door. Imagine this closed door workshop, 5 days, no media allowed. Oh, the media were waiting outside. They said, no way. Malacanang called everybody in this industry, including the private sector. Globe, Smart, Petron, the guys from the LPG, Solane, Meralco, Manila Water, called everybody, let's have a workshop, let's do this. Even the Americans were here, they joined. Even the Japanese were there. And we did a workshop. And today I can share to you the outputs. You see, I have to make you understand first the gravity of the situation before we know what to prepare for. Agree? Okay, so, including the Japanese study and the Australian study, 2 countries that helped us immensely, came out with grants and started doing the research. And with that, together with the output of the workshop, came out to this. You have to understand we're already 20 million people in Greater Metro Manila. Not Metro Manila, Greater Metro Manila. That includes already when you pass Alabang, going further south, okay? Going to Cavite and so on, going to Bulacan. 20 million. People told us questions about this. How did you 20 million? According to the data, we're only 15 million here. Well, because you didn't count everybody. You know how we counted 20 million? No, Rex, we didn't go 1, 2, 3. Your cell phone signals. Cell phone signals. Like when I asked Globe and Smart to give me a count on BGC, I averaged about 750,000 people. Imagine that. That's possible. I have 250 buildings, times 3,000 per building. Pwede. Okay, so that's how we came out. Surprisingly, at night, we're only 18 million. Why? Where did the 2 million go? Because they went home to these areas. That's why the highways traffic, those UV Express, everybody's going out of the city. See? But see, that's still overcrowded. It's still overpopulated. We discovered that we don't have any rescue capability. Let's be honest. Where are the heavy lifting equipment? Where are the things that they say, oh, our barangay is ready. Really now? Well, in my village, I have 25 homes on top of the fault line. Just on my zone, just on my zone, not the whole village, just my zone. 25 homes on top of the fault line. So we called for a meeting like this. One guy said, I'll donate a jackhammer. Other guy said, I like that. I'll also donate a jackhammer. Fantastic. We now have 2 jackhammers. We have 25 homes to worry about. Who gets to use it first? Jack and Poy, toss coin. If your child is trapped in the rubble. Sad to say, this is one country who's not really preparing. We don't even have evacuation centers. You know how many basketball courts we have in this country? The same number of barangays, 48,000. There are some barangays with even 2 basketball courts. We build more basketball courts than evacuation centers. Can you understand what's going on? See, we're on our own here. We got to do this ourselves. Roads will be cut. There are water pipes under there. According to the Japanese, 4,000 points will be disconnected. So we asked during the workshop, the Manila water people, how long can you restore? You know what they told us? Oh, sir, we got to dig it up first. It's underground. It might be faster just to lay up a new pipe. And the main pipe coming from Angat Dam, you've heard of Angat recently because of the shortage of water, right? The pipe passes my village before it goes up to Balara, outside my village. A huge pipe that a car can fit in crosses the fault line. Now, I don't know if they have invented any flexible pipes like that size. I don't know. But once this goes, we're not going to have water. And believe me, the experience we had last month of the rationing of the water, during the big one, there's no more rationing because there's no water to ration, period. It will be candlelight dinner for all. Power lines will go down, like what happened to us in Tacloban. When the good people of Bicol and Cebu came to help to restore power, to put up the wires were missing. People started using it for the junkyard. They need money. So I said, oh my goodness, here in Manila, it's still hanging there. You're already stealing it. What more if it's down on the floor? Signals down. Did you realize it last April 22 after the earthquake? The mobile phones were congested. You know, when you have 20 million people in Manila, texting, selfie, vibering, calling everyone. Did you feel it? Hello, the whole city is shaking. You ask, did you feel it? The system crowded. The system got congested. Just imagine, And our friends from the telco said, yes, there was a sudden surge of people using it. It's just like when you try to text someone on New Year's Eve or Valentine's or Christmas Eve. It's just like when you get out of a big concert, you're trying to look for your driver and you can't find your driver because the system cannot call. It's overloaded. This is COVID Japan. And you all know that the Japanese are one of the best builders, most honest, and yet look what happened to them. Need I remind you of San Francisco, the Nimitz, the Bay Bridge, part of Oakland Freeway went down. Same with LA. Every time I go to the south in Alabang to visit my siblings, I always say a little prayer that whoever made this, I hope they made it right. I just need 1 footbridge on EDSA to go down and traffic is closed. I can't understand it. There's an accident on C5, EDSA is affected. There's an accident in EDSA, C5 is affected. Just 1 footbridge that will go down. Just 1 billboard. That's it. You will not have traffic flowing. We have 40,000 hospital beds. 40,000 in Metro Manila. St. Luke said when I talked to them, can we accommodate wounded? Sir, our priority is to bring out our own patients, to evacuate our own. From the nursery, and all of you here are parents of babies, I'm sure if you were in the hospital, you yourself would get out of your bed to get your baby out of the nursery after a big earthquake. How many babies? How many people in ICU? We were even joking, where are you going to put all the patients at St. Luke's? At SNR? There's no place. 40,000. These are real pictures. So what I'm showing you are real events. So everything will be done outside. All the first aid will be done in the open. And no doctor would risk going inside an emergency room when you're having aftershocks. Aftershocks. The last earthquake of Zambales registered 900 aftershocks in 48 hours, 8 of which were felt by people. 900. Can you imagine that? It was actually the Americans who called our attention to this picture. They said, do you realize if you were seated in your car and the earthquake happens, your tendency is to turn on the radio, find out what's going on, and you hear that the school collapsed or there's trouble in your neighborhood, something is burning, would you still sit there and wait or start walking? I would leave my car. You would too. So now this becomes a virtual parking lot. Where will rescue effort pass? People, there'll be 500 fires according to the Japanese. I found that hard to believe. 500 fires? Well, they showed us how many in Quezon City estimated. How many in, when you talk of places like Dagatan, Tondo, Navotas, Fire-prone areas. When we added it up per city, we really came out around 500 fires, simultaneous fires. Where are the firemen? There's no water. And believe me, a fireman will take care of his family first. You think it will go rescue you when it's right in his neighborhood is already on fire? Think about it. We'll have a problem with the dead and missing. This is from Yolanda. We are expecting something like, according to the Japanese, 33,000 dead. According to Australia, because our population already increased, 37,000. That's from the first wave of collapsed structure. It doesn't include those who are trapped and the building is burning. Here's the thing, guys. I want you to check it even in your homes. You know the door jambs we have now? They're no longer the same door jambs when we were growing up. The walls were really solid. So door jambs now, when it moves, earthquake. If that thing misses the alignment by an inch or a millimeter, that door is jammed. You understand? The shaking of the door jam, and they realize it in other countries. Unlike when I was young, it was really solid cement. I don't know if you call it Nara hardwood, really strong. It will stay. But now, even the aluminum doors will move. If it doesn't go back, that same millimeter, you're not going out. Looting. Oh boy, I tell you. 2 countries in the world that has not loot. Japan, Nepal. Here, we saw it in Yolanda. We saw it happening. We couldn't believe it ourselves. And the sad part is, even people from adjoining provinces came in just to enjoy the free TV, refrigerator, and all the other luxury items. Before they went for the milk, water, and food, they went for the flat screen TV. Airport, Manila International. Some of you would recall when you used to land, there were still salt beds down there. Now it's city of Parañaque. This is Surigao. See, the runway is so stiff that during a movement, it will buckle. It will crack. So here's the thing. During the workshop, you know what? They said, okay, we all agree we'll use Clark. That's where the Americans will land and all the other countries will land. As we were doing the discussion, somebody raised his hand from the audience and said, who are you? He said, I'm so-and-so from NLEX. Sir, we're not sure about that 6-kilometer-long viaduct from Bulacan to Pampanga. You know that elevated highway on North Luzon? If you go to Subic, if you go to Clark, over the Candaba Swamp. So when you look at it, then of course, there's always a competition between Navy and Army. So the Army guys thought, we'll take care of it. We'll pass the Southern Luzon Command. Will be the one to come to Manila. SLEC goes, sir, the fault line crosses Susana Heights right by the expressway. So we're really trapped. They said, okay, let's try Cavite. That's reclaimed area. The highway there is reclaimed. So good luck. So the Manila is actually locked out. The only mass grave area south of the city is over there. You see that in the corner? City of Dreams, the reclamation area. Because it's soft. Our problem is after Pasig River, in my area, you dig 1 meter, it's already adobe. How do you put the mass grave in adobe? So that there's a lot of situation here. Where will I be is the question now. Let me ask you, where will I be? Where will my family be? See, I went back to family. You know why? I also sit in the committee in the Navy to prepare the Philippine Navy. You know what we discovered, guys? 70% of our men will go home to look for their children in the school. For every 100 Marines under the Navy, 70 of them will go home to look for their sons or daughters in maybe Fort Bonifacio High School. I don't know if there's such a school. And when we're doing these figures, the guys from MMDA said, your figures are correct because when we researched what happened in Yolanda, 70% of the policemen went home to take care of their children. Where will I be? Where will my family be? Let's look at this, guys. Our children wake up about 5 or 6 in the morning. They get to school by 8. They're in school by 3 or 4. 5 o'clock, they're in the road. They go home to your homes, do their homework, do their dinner, sleep, and wake up about the same time. Agree? And us people, working people, we do the same. Maybe wake up at 5 or 6. You're in the office by 9. You're working all the way till 5. You're back on the road on traffic. You probably went to the gym. Probably would do some errands. You're home by 8. You want to relax, sleep, wake up the same day, the same time. Agree? This is the normal schedule. Check this out. That window right there is 12 hours out of home. You don't realize it, but you realize it now, that 50% of the time, you are out of the house, including the kids, the little ones. They're in school. Do you agree with this? 6 o'clock to 6 o'clock is 12 hours. It's only 24 hours in a day. 50% of the time, we're not home. Question, what time is the earthquake? Nobody knows. They say if the earthquake happens at night, there'll be more dead people. As a layman, I found that hard to believe. I said, how can that be? You know, the malls are empty, the schools are empty, the offices are empty, the roads are empty at night. Why more dead? Because 40% of the damage will be homes. Those ones, the moment you drive out of Marriott, so when you pass by the streets, along the service road, hollow blocks, 2-story high, no engineering, flimsy design. Those are the buildings that will collapse, not the tall buildings. They're engineered to withstand the earthquake. There'll be more dead people at nighttime. But I'll be honest with you, and I always say this, I have a selfish reason why I want the earthquake at night. And you know why? Because my children are around me. Can you imagine if the earthquake it's already 3:35, 3:40. Earthquake, boom, happens now. No more communication. Where are the kids? Where are the children? Where's my wife? Where's my mom? Where's my dad? You don't know. See? So that's the question. Where will I be? You'll realize that you're a yo-yo. You're on your own. You will be thinking of the family, the school of the kids, your work, and your community. Maybe this community, maybe your home. No, there's no Republic of the Philippines here. Because even us, who are dedicated to serve, in that very moment, it's always family first. After I secure my children and my wife, I'll report to duty. The same with you. Where will you be? The haves and have-nots competing to survive. I saw this in Facebook during the election of how come the election went unexpected. It's because of our brothers and sisters in the class A, B, C to D. Well, the voting population is a very good demographics, if you want to say, of the victims. When the big one happens, there's no such thing as rich or poor. There's no such thing that I live in a village and you're in a slum. When the big one happens, we're all equal. We're all the same. And frankly, we will be fighting for resources between them, us, and them. And this is the pyramid. That's us over there, and them. Water, food, necessities, medicine. All of this, you got to put into the equation. You think government will be there? Even the big governments, they will not be able to work this. Even the United States, if it happens to them, they'll be overwhelmed. Just simply too big. So the 7 basic needs to survive. Water, food, shelter, energy, security, money, and humans. Let me go through this one by one very quickly. When you say water, I'm only talking about drinking, cooking, sanitation, and hygiene. No taking a bath. When I teach you today how to compute, these are the important ones. Forget the bathtub. Forget taking a bath. This is just for you to get along, to survive. Next is food. Daily nutrition, at least 3 times a day, and your maintenance medicine. Believe it or not, I am in maintenance medicine. I have hypertension. How many of us here are in maintenance? Blood sugar, diabetic, heart, even for your mental health. I saw a lot of people in Tacloban in Leyte who survived the typhoon, but on the 3rd week, passed. No maintenance medicine. I have 1 month supply of my high blood medicine. In case something happens, I have. Because what do you think? You're going to walk to Mercury Drug and just get the medicine? If Mercury Drug is still there. In our list, they're going to be one of the first to be looted. Right? So think about it. Even the children, the little ones, the vitamins. I saw a mother store a lot of formula milk, but she forgot the water. Little things like that. So right there, daily nutrition, including your maintenance medicine. Shelter, safe haven, temporary shelter, and toilet. After an earthquake, okay, the difference between a flood or typhoon, you can go back to your house. You can stay in an evacuation center. The problem with earthquakes, they're aftershocks. You don't want to stay. You Google it. Look at images. Even in Nepal, even in Japan, they set up tents. You can sleep in your car, but never inside a house. I have really a fear about people living in condominium, which we'll discuss later on. Okay? Not about it's going to collapse, no. How long will that condominium last in terms of supply of water, electricity? Energy, I'm talking about genset, fuel, battery packs. You have battery banks, even LPG tanks. My goodness. My mother-in-law, she's wondering, how come you have so many LPG tanks? That's because, what do you think? After an earthquake, I will just call the call center and ask them to deliver a tank. Probably they'll tell you, or our delivery boy is dead. But I need to eat. I need to cook food. So I have 3 tanks in a round robin. Charcoal. I even have a backup charcoal, just in case. If people say, no, just pick up wood. Hello, you're in the city. No firewood. There's no firewood in the city. See, you gotta think of these things. Security, of course, defense. But, I always say in my talks, I gotta respect the anti-gun and, the pro and the anti-guns. My own wife is anti-gun. My mother is a full-blooded waray-waray, is anti-gun. Of course, I'm in the military, I'm pro-gun. But I just tell my friends who are licensed, responsible gun owners, you better step up. When it comes to disaster, you gotta protect the defenseless and innocent. You better step up. Otherwise, you surrender that firearm. You're useless with that. And of course, I told my wife, if I'm not around and you have a looter coming in, I hope your broom and your dustpan can repel them. First aid, so on telecoms, and then cash, emergency funds. Oh my goodness, we had a bank with the 3-letter acronym that went crazy after Holy Week. Do you remember? We couldn't withdraw. They were updating or something went wrong. In Leyte, the ATM disappeared. They couldn't get the money out, so they pulled the whole machine. There was an unusual withdrawal after the earthquake of April 22. People started to go to the ATM and withdraw. It was April 22, middle of the week, middle of the month. The salary just finished, remember? 15th, just finished. You better have money. And we've been pushing, just to sidetrack, we've been pushing people in the business, even you guys. At home, store money, small denomination. Because there's no way you're going to go to the bank. If the internet is down, there's no ATM. If communication is down, there's no ATM. And we're having a lot of companies in BGC storing money now in envelopes, the salary of each of their people. Or at least some money to give to their employees in case a big one hits. Where do they put the money? In their houses in Forbes, Dasma, or Magallanes. It's in the safe of the owner. He will bring it to his people in the evacuation area in BGC. Here, go home, take care of your children. Go home, take care of your children. Go home, take care. You're just not going to leave them there. Fend for yourself. Chances are there's nothing in their wallets. See, these are the things you got to think of. Now, you also do that for your own family. Have some ready cash. And then humans. When I say humans, no man is an island. You're not a lone wolf here. When it comes to disaster, you need your family to keep your strength together. If there's a handyman among the children, fantastic. If there's somebody who knows how to cook, very good. There has to be all-out effort. There's not going to be no yaya. There's going to be no manong driver. There's not going to be no manong guard. They're going to go home. They have children too. Water, very easy to remember. These are 5-gallon containers, yes? I prefer this one for storage. It has a handle, it has a faucet. I'll put a mark, mom's water, dad's water, kuya's water, whatever. 1 gallon per day per person is the rule. You only need 2 liters from there for your daily drink of 8 glasses. The rest is saved for cooking rice maybe or making your oatmeal or coffee or whatever. Drinking, cooking. Sealed, secured, stored in a dark place. Easy to reach location. Don't put it all the way inside the house because if you can't get into the house, that's useless. Use purified water. Replace every 6 months. Technically, water does not expire. But just for your peace of mind, you can replace it. Load again. I have 12 of these at home. I have 8 kids. Me and my wife, 12. What's a 2 for? I don't have kasambahay. We practice US style. For my dog, I have a Belgian Malinois and a Golden Retriever. Even the pets are included in the count. So my wife goes, how about if mama comes here? I have a dog. The water with a dog. Okay. I'm just getting all of you are staring at me. I don't know if you're getting it or you're shocked. Food. Your daily food and your maintenance medicine. Guys, I'm armed forces. But I will never make my children eat this, the military food. You've heard of this, right? The MREs, meal ready to eat. It also means meal rejected by the enemy. These are designed for Rambo. You give children this, they're going to go crazy with all the energy. Okay? Do not change their diet. Buy the same food you're normally used to. Store the same food, and I'll teach you. It's very simple. I don't want you to do what I did. I went to SNR, bought boxes of Spam, boxes of corned beef, boxes of pork and beans. 3 months later, I saw the expiry. 6 months later, oh my goodness, it's about to expire. I was having corned beef every day for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner. Have you tried adobong corned beef? Don't do it. Here's the trick. Very simple trick. I love doing the grocery, to be honest with you. I enjoy doing the grocery in those times. If my grocery bill is about 5,000 a week, for the first round, I buy another 5,000. If I can afford it, I buy another 5,000. So duplicate. When I get home, I put one from the grocery in storage and the other one goes to the kitchen. Next week, I do grocery again. I just buy 5,000. And then it moves forward. We're doing this in our business, in our production line. It's called first in, first out. Technically, I don't have to store so much and worry about expiry. Worse is don't feed your kids things they're not used to because they're going to have a bad stomach. They're already stressed out with the earthquake and then you're going to change their diet. Even my dog, you change the diet, it's going to get a bad stomach the next day. For the pet lovers here, you know what I'm talking about. Now, with this idea, it's very simple. First in, first out. So I have at least a week's supply. Okay? You'll say, you only have 1 week. I'll explain later why I only have 1 week. This is how it looks like at home. In my garage. So what I did, if you notice, even the ramen here, this is plastic glass. Of course, I'm anti-plastic, but save the earth later. I'll save myself first. Because there's no water to wash anyway. All the toxic items, soap and everything is outside. Toilet paper here, canned goods, so on and so on. See it? That's how it's done. So I have the same food. I don't keep military food. And remember this, the longer the shelf life, the shorter your life. Remember that, huh? The longer the shelf life of the product, the shorter your life. It's all preservative. Eh? Of course, somebody asked me, my wife is into organic. And a lot of us here are getting into that. That's why I have my little urban farm at home. So a parent from LaSalle, actually, Rex, asked me, that's bad. It's all canned goods. Don't you have organic canned goods? I said, oh, you haven't encountered an organic canned goods. But tell you what, madam, I said, that's only for a short while. You have a choice of dying of cancer or dying of starvation. The choice is yours. Then she goes, I'll just try the canned goods. Which is just not for the whole time. It's just to get through the crisis. There's going to be no refrigerators. There's going to be no electricity. The meat in your freezer, just don't keep on opening it 24 hours, 48 hours. Then you better cook that already. It's already, melted. See? Turn it into something that, like adobo, you can store for a long time. Shelter. We are fortunate we live in a space that's, let's face it, we're not in the slum area. We're not in the urban area, urban poor area that you come out of the door, your neighbor's right here. We have gardens. We have open spaces in our places. Just buy a tent. It's not that expensive anymore. Maybe Rex, there are made in India tents that we can bring in. Seriously. Or I put them in my car. We have SUVs. Nice thing about the cars, I'm too old to pitch a tent, to be honest with you. And if I have to move the tent because it's hot, because under the sun, it's easier in the car. I move the car. The car has aircon. The car has AM, FM radio. The car, I can charge my cell phone or my flashlight. I can recline the seat. You can do several things in the car. So, shelter. Why? If your place is like this, would you still go inside and sleep there and then you feel the aftershocks? No way. Don't. Vertical living. Who are in condominiums here? Don't be shy. Raise your hand. I have a daughter in BGC on the 24th floor. Okay, take note of this, guys. Your condos, the modern condos, are designed to move. Okay? That's all right, good, but go down during an earthquake. As the building management, what is the structural integrity of the building? Meaning, is it rated for 7.2? Is it rated for magnitude 8? They normally have that from a third-party evaluator, okay? So at least you know, if it's designed to withstand 7.2 or magnitude 8, I'll be okay here in the shaking. It's more of the things inside my condo that might fall on me, all right? Now, will I go down? Yes. Some people would say, but if the building didn't collapse, why would they stay? Because if there's a fire on the bottom floor, you won't get down. Some people say, but in the movies, he went up the roof. You have a rich uncle with a helicopter? Fine. But what are you going to do in the roof? On the roof deck? Go down. No arguments. Go down because you don't know if there... You know what's a culprit now on fires for the modern buildings? You'll be surprised. The China made Class C cell phone chargers. See, when power goes out, your building generator has a sensor that will kick in automatic, right? But the generator does not know it was an earthquake. He just knows that the power went out and his job is to turn on and put back the electricity. The surge of electricity makes those little chargers go boom. And normally, it's in the maid's room or even in the offices, the modern offices. They're there and it starts a fire. So get out. Check for condominium. Ask them what's the capacity of your fuel in the generator. Sure, you have a generator, but for how long? My daughter is on the 24th floor. I said, honey, you better start practicing walking up and down 24 flights. Because on the third day, I'm sure your fuel for your generators in your building, gone. How about the water? Yes, we have cistern and tanks. How long? For how long? Are you going to walk up 24th floor? My mother-in-law is on the 50th floor. I said, bye-bye. Yes, and there in BGC, 50th floor. I said, bye-bye, good luck. You're going to go up and down. I'm not going up there. Continuity of facility. Who among the people in the condo will stay to make it run? The maintenance man will go home. He has children. Security guard, do you think he will stay? He will go home. He has family. The manong guys there that you ask to fix this, do this, they're going to go home. They don't live there. Sanitation and waste disposal. Oh, we were computing at BGC. How much waste is if there's no more garbage collection? See? There's no water to flush the toilet. In estimated days of operation, believe it or not, 3 to 7 days. That's how much we estimate the condos will last. Yes, it's standing. It withstood the earthquake. But the sustainability, to sustain life there, to operate, is only about this much. How many floors can you climb? Do not reoccupy your building without inspection, please. Some of us here were already around during the Baguio earthquake. Remember the Baguio earthquake? The Hyatt terraces? It went down on the second round, not the first. First shaking, everybody went out. Ooh, run. The Nevada went down right away. A survivor there is a neighbor in Loyola Grand Villas, actually, the wife of the late Senator Rocco. She was telling me they were in something like this. They were having a conference when the earthquake hit. But see, people in the Hyatt went out. You know, guys, here's the bad news. We are the only country in the world where we do our earthquake drills in school and we ask their children to go back into the classroom after. Oh my God, I said, what are we doing teaching our children the wrong? You're getting muscle memory. In BGC, if I had it my way, do it at 5 o'clock. So everybody go home after. No more going back. Don't practice that. Earthquake drill. Of course, we were all excited when we were kids. Oh, earthquake drill. We'll go to the field. Then they tell you, okay, go back inside. It becomes a muscle memory. So that is what happened in Hyatt. On the second round, it finally gave up when people went in. So if you're condo dwellers and you see a big crack right there in your lobby, I mean, you must be really suicidal if you want to go back there. Energy, where we have so much devices. So batteries, power banks, rechargeable batteries, solar. Just be careful when you buy these things. If you pay peanuts, you get monkeys. A lot of these items, even the power banks now, how come Only 50%. I charge this. No, it's only 50%. It's because it's fake. These are what you call mission critical equipment. Don't save on this. Buy the right stuff. Okay? Generators. Some of you have generators. And a lot of people, I'm surprised. Gasoline expires. Diesel does not. Kerosene does not. And most of the small generators at home are gasoline. So they have their little can there. And when after 6 months, it's not as volatile anymore. Remember that. Gasoline expires. Okay? So that's anyway, this is just a review, and then let's go to, security. One of the topics, acts of desperate behavior. Personal safety, looting, and home invasion. Let's go through this. Look at this guy in Tacloban. He's holding a gun, stopping the people. He owns the store, by the way. Stopping the people from breaking into his store. Now look at the background. The roll-up door and this yellow-black barricade. You see this? Now look at the next frame. Yellow-black barricade, that's the store. What's the lesson here? I don't care if you're Rambo. If there's a crowd, mob rule, hungry people, they'll probably shoot a couple of them. The rest will eat you alive. Let's look at this. It's still raining. It's still raining. Look at the raindrops. People are starting to loot. After a typhoon, it's sunny. It's still raining. Yolanda's still in town. I was even wondering when we were looking at these pictures. I didn't take this picture. What is the Robinson's gondola doing here? But they use it because there are wheels under. They use it as a cart. Very genius. See? So look at them. Climbing. Happening. Oh, check it out. See, it's just like, I came in about a week. Things were starting to calm down, but let me tell you, I have nothing against these people, but it's scary. You know what I heard? I'll say it in English, but it's, what now? We're all equal. We're all the same. It's like they were angry at the rich. Suddenly, we're all the same. They just took anything they want. There was this hatred for the rich people. That is a scary part. You know what's the population of Tacloban, by the way? 200,000 people. You know what's the population of Manila? 20 million. 200,000 is 1%. We went crazy. Just imagine what 20 million will do. Just imagine that. It's sayang, it's sad. Look at that. That's a TV, right? Flat screen. Happening. Cash is king. When it comes to disaster, that's out. Plastic is out. Cash is king, guys. Please, small denomination. I saw many tricycle pedicab driver made a lot of money. Yolanda hit November 8th. My uncle's balikbayan came in before November 1 for All Souls Day, All Saints Day. Okay? Yolanda came November 8th. They were staying all the way to Christmas. You know how they are, exchange dollars. They wanted to increase the 1,000 peso bill. Yolanda came. The tricycle doesn't have a change. So he was making a lot of money. Have small bills. Nice to know, do's and don'ts. Tonight, when you go to sleep, make sure you have a flashlight by your bed, a whistle, extra glasses for those who have glasses, your cell phone, shoes or slippers, thick, your wallet with identification card, and a bathrobe. Even when you travel abroad. During the Resort World, no? During the Resort World incident, we were up by 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. We were awoken because, they were calling everybody or something. We thought it was really Marawi to Manila, We saw in the pictures, when we were reviewing it, the Koreans, they love to sleep naked. But at least they were able to grab their bathrobe. They were out there in the parking lot, in bathrobes, smoking cigarettes. Whatever happens, if you sleep naked, please don't run out naked. That's going to be a disaster. Trust me. So tonight, practice this. Have these items in your... There's going to be a lot of broken glass. We live in modern homes with glass. You're not going to run through that glass or broken glass, passing through the kitchen with a lot of broken plates. Have this nice slippers, brand new, just under the bed. The survival kits, I'm not going to bore you with this because in your handouts, we gave you a checklist ready for home survival kits, go bags, car survival pack. Put it even in your car for emergency. Get home bags are for the office. See the word get home. Don't do the go bag in the office where it's like you're going to go on a 3-day trip. Just enough to get you home. Get home bag. And everyday carry EDC. Now you whistle with you, a flashlight maybe, and identification with you every day. Okay? And home survival kits are actually mothers here. When you open your kitchen cabinet, you realize you have so many duplication. There are 3 butcher's knives, there are 3 of this. The nice thing about this project is you get to clean up your kitchen. We call it purge. So you get those extra items, put it in a container, put it outside the house. Just in case there's an earthquake and you cannot enter the house or re-enter the house, you have items outside for you to continue your cooking. Same with your closet. The nice thing about doing go bags is you get to purge your items. The things you don't like to wear, put it in your go bag. Okay? You don't have to be fashion conscious during an earthquake. Put it there. Go bag made for each family members. Ready to go bags ready carry bags containing 3 to 7 days of belongings. Here's the thing. My children, we review our go bags every 6 months. Why? Because they grow. They grow, even we grow. Can you imagine if you did not check your go bag, you get to the evacuation center, you cannot even close your pants? Because we grow. Check it every 6 months. So here my kids, Dad, come on, we're doing Netflix or whatever. So I switch off the Wi-Fi. First attack. Switch off the Wi-Fi. Ah. And still, you never hear the end of it. But see, one time I told them, kids, we're going to Subic. My sister has a house in Subic. Kids, is going to Subic. Really, Dad? Yeah. Come on. Last minute. In less than 20 minutes, they're packed. Do you realize what's inside a go bag and a vacation bag is the same? You open it. You check my list. The list we gave you. It's the same. Underwear, change of clothes, toiletries, medicine, purse. The same thing you take when you go out of town. Little water here and some snacks. So when it comes to preparing for disasters, you never hear the end of a complaint. When you tell them for a good time, they're very fast. Let's go bag, that's where it came from. Put it in a location easy to grab. Check every 6 months. Check the checklist which I gave you. Like if you're in a condo, put it in your car. The car has a lot of trunk space. Okay? My own daughters, they have go bags in their cars. Just in case they're on the road and something happens, they have something in the car. First aid kits, this you have to go on your own by going to the drugstore, pick up a basket. We provided the list there. Just put it there, make your own. Of course, you can buy the ready-made. But sometimes a ready-made is not designed for your family. I got 8 kids and the betadine is this big. Hello. That's only for a pimple, I told my wife. So you better make it match, okay? So we made the list. Let's go faster. Do not forget go bags for the children, the little ones, the infants, seniors and elderly, special needs, PWD, even the kasambahay. You know, when you're gonna evacuate, please bring your kasambahay. Don't leave them. Yaya, stay home, ha? We will evacuate. Don't let anybody in. There's enough food there. My God. And your pets. I saw a family in Leyte, a retiree, with 12 dogs. 12 dogs, beautiful dogs. They forgot the dog food. They didn't buy the dog food at Robinson's. Can you imagine the neighbors were already looking at the dogs? Seriously. I have at least a sack of yung 20 kilo ba yun? The heavy content. At least ready all the time. When I buy next week in True Value, just switch it. Okay? That's how it looks like at home. If you notice, the bags are not new. Use the used bags from school last year. You know how kids are, Dad, I like this bag. No. For your go bag, we use your school bag last year. Why? Every year, there's a new bag for school. So get that. Look at it. Those are old bags. Nothing new. And always make a joke out of this because that's mine, obviously. That's military bag. The rest are mine. But you said you have 8 kids. Well, the others are already in their condo. But my wife is not, her bag is not here. Because we're still arguing up to now. She has a bagahe with wheels. I said, honey, we're not going to Hong Kong. We're evacuating. But of course, she was, what? I have a lot of stuff there. You know, I will. Okay, fine. I won't argue with you. I'm not carrying that. Everyday carry things. Hey, guys, always have IDs, especially if you have, you know, you can always make an ID. your blood type, those things. It's really important. Have a flashlight with you all the time. Cell phone. If you have a cell phone, especially Android, use the hands-free because this becomes an antenna. There are FM radios in the Android. Okay? Whistle, pillbox, and a small knife. Something like a tool, an opener or something. Or you can always put it in something like this, in a keychain. I left mine there over there. With something like this, okay? So at least you have this every day. And then, cars, always so fortunate. Every time I give a talk, I was telling the gentleman earlier, I make my talk modules for this market. If I use this module to the barangay, they're all staring at me. Even though I speak fluent Tagalog, because it's not applicable to them. For us, we have cars. Use your car, as an evacuation vehicle. It doesn't mean after an earthquake, all roads are closed. No. Only where the fault line cross may be. But you can still move around. Okay? So, starting now, put this in your car. No harm. It's not an earthquake, but you're in Carmageddon. Nothing is moving for the next 4 hours on SLEX. Have some food there. My God, you're starting to shake. I'm so hungry. I'm so thirsty. No harm to put that. Put those things. Food, snacks, bottled water, change of clothes to bright colors. Rubber shoes, big flashlight, dust mask, EDC, or everyday carry. Have rubber shoes. I don't think, especially the ladies, you will walk home in your high heel shoes. Even the men, if that's Ferragamo, you need a rubber shoes. You gotta walk. So put it in your car, no harm. Fuel, nako. I love this slide. We are one people here, and I'm one of them, who likes it. My driver would say, "Sir, we're already empty. Take a look." Sometimes I doze off in the car. "Later na, tomorrow na, go home na. We're already there. We're already near the house." "Sir, it's already on reserve." "Kaya pa yan. Kaya pa yan. Okay." Don't do that. Even our scooter guys here, the kamotes, we call it, the motor riders, they're always into 100 pesos, 100 pesos, 100 pesos. Hey, you can afford to buy a car, i-full tank nyo. Go full tank. And every time it hits the half, that's your empty. Practice that. Full tank. Every time it hits the half point, pretend that you're empty, load up again. Just in case something happens, you still have a 25 liter more or less. You get it? But never the other way around. You only have to hear, load up to here, down, load up to here, down. Hello. Might as well. One time, big time, and then play around here. Can you imagine? You're like that, and this is like this. Imagine yourself. So you're sitting in one of those cars there, your fuel is like this, traffic's like this. And surely you will be calling him. Probably pray over Jesus, please, please, please. It's the honest truth. There's no gas station. You're an empty. You're going to call on that guy there. Jesus, help me. Have mercy. Oh, use your car trunk. It's one of the most useless part of the car is the trunk. Except the food of Manong driver. And his basahan. It's right there in the back. Use it to store your items. At workplace, we call it a get-home bag. It's just like a gym bag, guys. You put your rubber shoes there and your other things. It's just a small bag. Okay? But men, the men here, don't use a get-home bag with all clothes like 3 days. Your wife will start to doubt you. That is not a get-home bag. You're going somewhere else. So be careful. Okay, office, workplace. Let's go. Let's touch on the workplace. In case of a major earthquake, and I get a lot of questions because people are now on high-rise buildings and so on. Find out first what is the protocol of your building for evacuation. Do you realize last earthquake? Let me see a raise of hand. How many felt it? Experienced the April 22 earthquake? Okay. Do you realize that magnitude 6 is not considered a strong earthquake? It's not. In fact, intensity 5, what we felt here in Manila, is not even required for evacuation. And yet it moved. It moved. So I went the next day to review the CCTV at BGC. We have a wonderful command center there. And then I told Director Solidum of FIBOX, "Sir, mostly were the millennials who panicked. You could see it. Because they never experienced a shaking like that. Well, my age group remembers Baguio. It was strong in Manila. Okay? When we were reviewing the tapes, the CCTV, it was the young kids who were really doing the herd syndrome. What's a herd? One Carabao run, everybody run. That's a herd. See? And you'll see it right there. So what is the building protocol? Some buildings did not evacuate. They didn't need to. Nobody called, but they got mad. Why did you evacuate us? Everybody evacuated. Because they set the alarm to intensity 6. Some buildings have alarms called accelerogram. Did I pronounce it? That accelerogram. Well, intensity, it's set on intensity 6. It will alarm if it hits 6, but it only hit 5. Okay? Next. Where is the designated evacuation area? Find out. Where are we going? What place in the building? Where? To be honest, on Wednesday, I have a similar talk like this in Masaya. Makati Commercial Estate, Salcedo, Legazpi. I have to tell them, hey, there's really no space, period. Okay? So you got to find it. Where's the reunification area? You know, where you go to evacuate is different for where you will reunify to look for each other. I have a company in BGC whose reunification and evacuation is all the way to the American Cemetery in the Rotonda. Okay? But their building is where that Lamborghini is. You know, there's a display of a Lamborghini there in Serendra, in front of Serendra. They will walk all the way there because they couldn't find a space. So I told them, you better check. I know about 10 other companies claiming that Rotonda. So you got to be coordinated. What is your communication system if the cell phone goes down? Radios are coming back. And the good news is NTC allowed the frequency range, no license required. It's just like they brought back the old CB radios, but in the UHF band. It's called an SRRS. I put it in your your manuals. It's there. And the radio is only something like 2,000 pesos per radio, and it has about 120 channels to choose from. Where do you go after? Here's the question. After the shaking in your offices, let's say, would you send people home already? I would. Because these people will not be able to concentrate anyway. And besides, you're breaking the rule. You're not supposed to reoccupy the building without being inspected. I'd rather you err on the side of caution. And then one businessman told me, do you know that business disruption is very costly for me? I understand. If you send your people home, that's costly. But it's the same thing when there's rain. It's the same thing you declare no work if it's flooding. It's the same thing if you declare there's a national transport strike. You send people home. So what's the difference with an earthquake? They said, oh, yeah, you're right. So it's not money, guys. Humans, human lives, our greatest asset, people. So if you have to let them go home for their sake, and believe me, they cannot focus anymore. Last Friday, the night shift at the call centers went home. They couldn't concentrate. Home, school of the kids, where are you going to go? You're going to go home? You're going to go to the school of the kids? If it's daytime, Evacuation for expat community and tourists. Last week, I did the Malaysian embassy together with their children and the staff. A couple of weeks ago, another embassy. Oh, by the way, I handle Forbes Park. I have 31 ambassadors to worry about. I told Forbes, you got 31 ambassadors here. I don't think there's only 100 expat Koreans here, 100 Japanese. It's a good thing China is in DASMA, not in Forbes. We'll be flooded with that. Just imagine this, 31 ambassadors. Because the embassies are on the high rise, I don't think they will operate. So, like Filipinos in the Middle East, they will look for their ambassador and say, Mr. Ambassador, evacuate me, my whole children, my whole family. 31 ambassadors times 100, just say 100 people. That's 3,100. Forbes is on a lockdown. Because after the big earthquake, even the rich people will walk home because traffic is no longer moving. The problem is, the car stickers is not in their forehead. So the guards will not let them in. Agree? And we discovered the age group of my kids who are living in condominiums will go home to mama in Forbes Park. All of these things. So what you're hearing from us is a different kind of lecture. This is not about duck cover and hold. This is not about drop cover. We'll look at the details of things. Okay? So just imagine those things. Okay, next. Where are we? Mass evacuation. Airport, forget it. Seaport, forget it. Where do we go for the expat community? For our friends. What if you have business guests in the country? Where do you go? I know for a fact, because Colegio San Agustin called me up, that the U.S. Embassy wants to use the football field to land the choppers. And I told them, good luck with the security of DASMA. Will they let you in? So, okay, let's move to plan B. I checked Polo Club. Maybe you could handle about 10 helicopters in the polo field, alternate parking. They don't want Manila Gulf for some reason because of the terrain and the trees. Okay? So, there's no, I don't know. It's just part of planning. The first 3 seconds, the first 3 minutes, the first 30 minutes, the first 3 hours. Let's go 3 seconds. The first 3 seconds of an earthquake, ground starts to shake, rattle, and roll. In denial of reality, this is always like, is there an earthquake? My God, did you feel it? You're already all over the place. There's a 3 seconds in denial. You understand what I'm trying to say? Like, come on, you've experienced that. I've experienced that. You said, I think my blood pressure is too high. I felt something. Am I DC? See? Okay. Then what happens is the 7.2, it will be sudden and very strong. It's not going to be a slow motion when the 7.2 hits. It's going to be one big one. No slow motion movement like intensity 5, like what you felt, no way. It will be fast and furious, violent shaking. Unsecured items will fall. Ceiling boards, that's like what you saw in the video, will fall. Glass panels will shatter. May last 30 seconds of shaking. And they said, how come it felt it was still moving after 30 seconds? That's you having your vertigo. Because it's like when you got out of a boat, you're still parang still moving. Okay? People are standing up, will be thrown off balance. Not everyone will drop, cover, and hold. We noticed that in the videos. We keep practicing about the drop, cover, and hold. I did not. I was on the 12th floor of Emerson, a company called Emerson. They have a building. I just finished a training session. 5 minutes later, the earthquake hit. The guard told me, sir, duck, cover, and hold. You think I really fit in that receptionist desk? My size? There's another way. Keep your eyes open. Do a tripod position, like American football players, the tripod. But keep your eyes open for falling things. Move if you have to. Don't go in a fetal position, because you can spring back. Now, if you're under a table, fine. You protect your head. Especially when your head is already like this. Our hair, need protection. When you start to bleed, you get a cut, that's panic sets in, even to soldiers. Because you don't know where it's coming from. Okay? The first 3 minutes after that, do not panic, drop, cover, and hold on. Stay away from glass and heavy objects. If no cover available, get down and stay low. Keep eyes open, watch out for falling debris, protect your head and nape. Evacuate only when shaking stops. You're not that flexible. Don't try to stand up and run. The shaking will throw you off. Check yourself first before helping others. Just like in the plane, when you decompress, those oxygen mask falls, the instruction is you put it on first before you take care of the other passengers beside you. Help others only if you are safe and uninjured. Get your get-home bag, go back, prepare to evacuate the building. The first 30 minutes, wait for instructions from safety marshals. If no instructions given, it is your choice to begin evacuation process. Never ride the elevator, use the stairs. It may take 1 minute per floor to descend. Said 1 minute, somebody asked me, it takes me 20 seconds to walk from floor to floor, during lunchtime. That's because you're alone. When you're on the 35th floor and you get out, prepare to meet the people from the 34th, 33rd, 32, 31, and so on and so forth. A guy from BGC told me, sir, Commander Juan, I want to correct you. You're wrong. It's not 1 minute per floor. How long did it take you? 2 minutes per floor. And I go, why? Frankly, I couldn't help leave an old woman. It reminded me of my mother. While all the other kids just passed her. People from the call center just passed her. Why was there an old woman there? She was one of the lawyers in the law firm upstairs. And I didn't have the heart to leave her. What if that was your mother-in-law? Oh, no problem. Watch out for falling debris as you exit building. Oh, the showers of the broken glass. Ay, naku, I tell you, the problem with along Ayala, I would look, oh my goodness, look at all this glass. If that pops out, it becomes like a waterfalls of glass. Proceed to designated evacuation area. Assemble and conduct accounting of evacuees, meaning your office people if you live if you work in a building. Tend to injured and state of shock. Those people are really in shock. You couldn't move. There will be elderly women and children. Okay, let me just go fast because we're running out of time. First 3 hours, expect aftershocks to follow. Stay away from structures that may collapse due to aftershocks. Not everything. They call this paperclip syndrome. Paperclip is strong. You shake it, break it, it don't break. Some more. Finally, it will be broken, right? Same with buildings, same with structures. The shaking made it weaker, then another aftershock, weaker, and then finally it will give up. And do not reoccupy building without being inspected. Do not return to the office without orders. Help with basic first aid. It would be nice if you get this going among your people, basic first aid. Cooperate with evacuation authorities. Prepare to head home to reunify with family. Now look at this. This is an earthquake actually in Cebu. I did put any picture set of BGC. Look at them. You want to compute how much space you need? 1 square meter per person. Rule of thumb. I have 12 people in the house, I need 12 square meter. I have 100 people in the office, I need 100 square meter. 1 square meter is about this big. 1 person. Okay, fine. You may have 2 people in 1 square meter. But I've never seen an evacuation on a group hug. That's how we used to count people in, what do you call that place? Luneta. When I was still with the PSG, I'll be there on the roof deck of Manila Hotel. And we'll hear the radio commentators say, there's over 1 million people here. Oh my God. How did you fit 1 million people in a 10-hectare space? Only 100,000 will fit. Okay, fine. You make them sick while they're doing their political rally. That's how you compute your space. Use the 1 square meter per person rule. Okay? Map reading. Oh, now I'll show you the roads. Okay, let's do map reading. We are there at... sorry, this is... no, this is not your slide. What's this place? Oh, I'm just going... Like, if you're in the middle of Legazpi Village, this is the Salcedo Marketplace. Or no, sorry, yeah, Salcedo. That's about 4.3 kilometers to the fault line. You go to Feebox Fault Finder. You click your map. It will show you how far you are from the fault line. But you guys, to be honest, it doesn't matter how far. We're on the same plate. If it moves there, it moves here. Same. Remember, the earthquake was all the way in Zambales. We felt it here. Just in this, we're talking about 4 kilometers away. Okay? Affected roads and bridges. C5. Let's start with C5. This is C5 coming from Ateneo. This is Eastwood. You're familiar with Eastwood, no? This is White Plains. The fault line, that red line, can we have the lights turned down a little bit more? You see, I think they can. There you go. It's always shining in my head. So you see the red line, guys? That's a fault line. It crosses C5. Okay, now pretend you're in your car. I'll give you a windshield view. There you go. You're going towards Yendesitas now. You're coming from Katipunan. That's Eastwood. The red line is the fault line. You follow? And if it's in a map, it's quite hard. But if I give you visuals like this, you kind of, I remember that place. Okay? So it crosses here, going to White Plains. So you saw pictures a while ago of the rupture. I mean, even if that just goes up by 1 foot, I don't think cars will cross. If that's a meter high, even a 6x6 truck will not cross. It may go one way, drop there, but you will go up. You understand? Okay, next. Ortigas, right outside Medical City. There are 2 lines. 2 lines. I'll give you a view of one. There it goes, in Lanusa. You know Lanusa, the Valle Verde area? It crosses there, huh? That portion there. So, going towards Pasig is cut. Going up to Mega Mall is cut. And that thing runs all the way to Julio Vargas. Okay, let's move to the next slide. Ortigas westbound. Oh, that I said 2 lines in Ortigas. This is the one near, the other one is here. This one. Medical City is over here. Okay? So, you'll have an idea. If you're driving back, going to Meralco Avenue up there, that thing will be uneven. Bagong Ilog Bridge, the one after Tiendesitas before you hit Market. The bridge in Pasig. The fault line is right under it. Right, that's a bridge. That's the fault line, right under it. This is the bridge. This is the elevated U-turn going to Market. Okay? This is the bridge. It's right under there. So I guess, where's the continuation? It's right over here. So I guess it's only common sense you join the dots. Because they couldn't find the line because it's underwater. That's Pasig River. So sabi nila, let's give na yan. And if the fault line is right under the foot of the bridge, then I don't think you'll use it. Kalayaan Avenue has a couple of them too crossing. Okay, so let's go further. This C5 McKinley. There, at Heritage. It crosses it. This is yung McKinley, the and Duran College is there. It crosses it again right here, the red line. Okay, the driving view is, there you go. That's BGC over there. You're coming from SLEX, exit C5, going to BGC. It crosses this portion. Okay, next. Who lives in the south? Anyone? Alabang area? Okay. It crosses, the fault line is where the Uratex is. Uratex, you see Uratex there, this red line. But there is a fissure that crossed to Hillsborough. Anyone from Hillsborough? Area, Alabang Hills? That area? Anyway, when you enter, just past that store, Welcome, road goes like this. That's the one. That's why they keep on repairing that. What is a fissure? A fissure is like a cavern underground from so much extraction of water. Deep well, years ago. The thing is, the violet line crossed SLEX. Let's just hope during the earthquake that doesn't become what we call ampaw, soft, it goes down. And of course, the pillars of the skyways there. But if that stays, thank you, Lord, you have another problem. By the way, this is the view. That's Piolo. This is the line. This is going to Hillsborough. There's a Total gas station. It's behind Total, actually. There's Total here, Metrobank here. It crosses there. Okay? Let's hope that fissure stays. But the fault line is on the side of Uratex. SLEX. Oh, you remember the exit of Philinvest? The little violet mountain there? That round thing? Well, the fault line kisses it. Right there. That's the red line is a fault line. That's the round Philinvest exit. The driving view is like this. If you're coming from south, going to exit Philinvest to get to Alabang, that's Asian Hospital, the fault line is right here. So we hope that the sudden jump doesn't also make that exit there, the ramp, fly out. Otherwise, you gotta walk to get home. Traffic will not move. And finally, in SLEX Susana Heights, this is the Muntinlupa Cavite Expressway. That's our beloved prison with 15,000 jacuzzi-loving inmates. I hope they don't go out after the earthquake. And this is the line that crosses it. The look is like this. There you go. You'll notice it going back to Philinvest. There are rows of white houses here. I think it's already finished now, but the line is here. The entrance to the Muntinlupa Cavite Road is here. Okay, that's going northbound going to Philinvest, coming from Canluba. The line is here. So those going further to Novali and those areas, let's just hope it doesn't go because there's no way for you to really get home if there's no more road. And of course, we have 19 bridges along the Pasig and another 15 along the Marikina. They finished repairing some. The Guadalupe, they planned to repair long ago, but because if they close Guadalupe, you very well know that traffic is going to be terrible. It's already terrible now. They've repaired the other bridges. I don't know their plan because I just hope if this bridge here goes down, the Guadalupe, I hope this Mitsubishi MRT track made of beautifully engineered arc of steel stays because there's a access stair here to cross there. Do you see this access stair from the MRT to go there? If that thing goes down, you can't cross. Now I will teach you how to find out if you will go home or not. Okay? This is the Pasig River. This is the Marikina River. The red dotted line is your fault line. Let's just use Makati as our center of our reference point. If you are going home west, you're going home to these areas, you are good to go. There are no blockage. If you're going to this red area, because you will be crossing the Pasig River, pray hard that the bridges are up. If you're going this side of town, San Mateo, Marikina, Antipolo, it's not only you're going to cross the bridge, you're going to cross the fault line. If it's in red, you're not going to go home. You may have experienced delay. If you're going to Muntinlupa East, meaning the lower Muntinlupa, Laguna and Batangas, because I showed you earlier, it cuts the SLEX, same thing. Now, this is also a good way for you to have an idea. If you're like I am here with you now, I live in Quezon City, If the earthquake happens, Rex, you're adopting me. I can't go home. You understand? You understand this basic, It's a good way also for you to find out, when I do this for companies, you may take a picture of this, just change the labels. I ask the people in the office, all those living in the red zone, go to that side of the room. All those living on the black zone, go to this side of the zone. Now, HR has an idea who's going to be stranded and who will go home. So what we do is match them. Can you adopt your coworker? Because it's going to be dark soon, you're not going to leave them outside in the street. We adopt. Try to see, hey, come, I'll adopt you. Just make sure you tell your family beforehand that if you're missing, I might be at your friend's house. Because of simple tricks. I want you to apply this also to your kids. Hey, if something happens, I can't get to UP, or I can't get to Ateneo, or you have an auntie that lives there. Can we make arrangement that you go there? See? But do it early, not during the earthquake. There's no way you're going to do it during the earthquake. You follow where I'm going? Same thing. I live in Quezon City. My wife works in Glorieta 3. I have a daughter in BGC. I have another son studying in La Salle TAF. So the plan is, they get together and go to an aunt in Bel Air. So that when I'm ready free, I know where to look for them. It's not like I'm going in circles with no communication. Understand? So this is a good way to find out if you will be able to get home or you'll experience delay. You follow so far, ladies and gentlemen? You understand okay, later we can discuss this on a one-on-one rather. Okay, so disasters, you cannot stop it, but you can prepare for it. Let's go last slide, Rex. Sorry, I was extending. Street smart travelers, you guys, this was a last-minute thing as requested by Rex last night. You called me last night? The other night? The other night, yeah. So I said, Dean's getting something. Okay, fine. We'll extend a little bit. Topic, pre-departure emergency preparedness. Balikbayan bag, not box. Okay, I'm talking about a go bag. For balikbayan, get home bag. Backup files, no money, no honey. This seat is taken. Tips for hotel, situational awareness, Barangay Filipino, and Philippine Embassy and Consulates. Let's go. Okay, do your intelligence work. If you're going to a country first time, or even if it's not the first time traveler, do your intel work. Google it. Find out. Oh, it's a security situation. The same way you find out the weather. Is it cold? Is it going to be hot? Am I going to wear this? Am I going to do this? Find out the security situation. You see it on CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera, or in the web. Climate, temperature, contact information. Guys, do your homework ready. Put it down. The airlines also. We always put it on the phone. What if you lose your phone? Come up with a little paper, no harm. Put it there. With you all the time. Contact Philippine Embassy, put it there. Filipino communities, oh my goodness, we're everywhere. Pinoys are everywhere. There's communities that, we've done it several times. Reach out to them, they will help you. Okay? Family, relatives, make a list. Even if you don't want to see your mother-in-law, make a list. You might end up with her. Friends, civic group, businesses, your contacts. You're going to a foreign land. You don't know the intelligence. You didn't do your intelligence. And something happens there. You're out on your own. Make your balikbayan bag, meaning a small bag that you bring around. Anyway, when you travel, you have a little bag there with your items there. Something like this, laptop, but have extra items. And we made that same list, no? Wait, where am I now? In case of emergency ID cards, put it there. Okay? And other IDs. Photocopy of your passport and vital papers. Print out of your e-ticket. Insurance travel, especially the medical insurance. Small phone book. There you go. Small phone book. Go back to old school. No harm. If you lose your cell phone in a commotion, at least you have a little pocket book there and you put it there. And then, extra cash in small denomination, preferably the currency of that country. Credit or debit card, hopefully it still works. Mobile phone with international roaming SIM card. Charger and adapters. Oh, you have a charger, they forgot the adapter. Yung pala, iba yung plug no. Power banks, pencil marker, permanent marker, pen and paper. City map, nice to have. It's the nice thing about city map, you can print it. You don't have to buy it. You just go to the internet, print it out. Okay, now here, maintenance medicine. Even if you're out there, you still need your maintenance medicine. Chances are the drugstore there doesn't carry it. extra pair of glasses, reading glasses, contact lens, copy of medical prescription. Bring a copy, even if you have to take a picture of it, your medical prescription. Your small first aid kit, no sharp objects because they might not allow it in the plane. Basic medicine for headache, cold, cough, and LBM. Wipes, wet wipes, antibacterial, tissue packs, disposable underwear, feminine sanitary items, toiletries, hygiene kits, and small towels, okay? Anyway, I'm leaving the slides with your secretariat, so if you need a copy of this, I promise, Rex, as long as, just keep it to yourself first. Extra change of clothes. You know, every time you travel naman, you have a small bag with extra change of clothes, just in case your main luggage disappears. Pocket poncho, there's a lot of this folded and unrolled. Ziploc, airsick bag, hand sanitizer, dust mask, N95 type. Okay, there's a lot of dust masks. Get the minimum one, it's N95. 3M has it. It's the one that has a higher rating for the microbes. Small flashlight with extra pen light batteries, whistle with you and in your bag, energy bars, chocolates, candy bars, fruits from the hotel. You know how they have fruits in the hotel in your room? You paid for that. Take it. Put it in your bag. No harm. You get stranded out there, at least you have food. I learned this from my old man. I said, Dad, you're embarrassing. You're getting the fruits. Hey, we paid for this. And he was practical. When we were in Europe, and suddenly we got stranded because of some snafu. He was the only one eating. And we were looking at him and said, oh, I told you earlier, you didn't want to follow me. So he was the only one eating. We learned our lesson the hard way. Get it. It's yours. Purified drinking water. Most of all, make sure you have water. Anywhere you go, have water. Okay, back up your files. Guys, how many of you really have pictures of your passport or your documents? Instead of you taking a selfie of your food, why don't you take a picture of that, from prescription to your passports and so on? Seriously. And then, that's how you do it. Take a picture, okay, and then bring it up to the web, in your draft box or something in your internet. You lose your passport abroad, as long as you have access to the internet, you click it, you have a copy, right? And of course, it's in your phone. Okay, cash is out, have the money when you travel. Money, okay? Okay, now let's go to the safe seats in the car. All right, this you may take a picture also. This is for left hand. So if it's a right hand, you change lang, ha? If it's a right hand drive. This is for a left hand drive. That is not a safe seat. The co-driver, based on study. Because chances are the driver will always try to reflex, get away from whatever is going to hit, and you're the one who's going to get hit. Okay? It's still safe. This is for taxi, cars and taxi people, huh? It's still safe this side. The white, yeah, okay, but the green one is the best. For a left-hand drive vehicle. But if the Commonwealth states, India, Singapore, it's the other way, right? Just reverse this. Next, minibus. Okay, vans. When you travel, you ride this from the airport. Of course, again, that's a driver. This is the danger seat. This is a safe. These are okay, but this is the safest. Maybe because it's near the door, and it's you get hit from the back. It's still, you know what I mean? Okay, it makes sense. Okay, for a bus, anything on the side, okay, fine, a nice view, but you get hit on the side. An explosion on the side, you get hit on the red ones, okay? That's a driver. The green ones are okay. All right. So why this green and this red doorway? There's a doorway right here. That's a door. Okay, so they don't ask you to stay near the door. All right, I will move on. City bus, the same thing. Anyway, I'll leave the copies for you if you want to follow this. It's a suggestion. It doesn't mean it's always right. Okay, this is for the train, the middle portion because of the collision. The middle portion is the best. And if you're riding the train, this is the head of the train and the tail of the train are dangerous because of collisions and derailment. By statistics, the middle portion is always intact. In the ship, of course, you're not going to follow Titanic. Everybody down there drowned. Up here is the best. And of course, on the side of the ship. You follow? Okay? So for the airplane, it's this area, they said, is the safest. Near the tail, past the wings. And now, buildings. When you check in, my wife would say, I like that highest floor. I want to see the view, enjoy the view. So, honey, when we're sleeping, you're not looking at the view. I'll date you later in the top floor, in the bar, and let's enjoy the view. But come bedtime, we'll be either on the 4th, 5th, 6th, or 7th floor. Why? The safest in a hotel, even for diplomats, is because, and there's an explosion, a car bomb, ground floor, 2nd floor, 3rd floor, 4th floor are normally affected by the blast. 4th, 5, 6, 7, basically safe. And also because of the fire trucks, the ladder can only reach, most of the ladders can only reach up to 7th or 8th floor. Oh, but in our city, there's this really huge ladder of the fire truck. Well, you'll be lucky if it's there. But I'm telling you, majority of the fire trucks can only reach 7 or 8. So when you travel, try to, and besides, if you're on the top floor and you need to evacuate, it's going to be a long walk. So what? The 4th floor, 5th floor, 6th floor, 7th floor. If you want to enjoy the view, sleep with your eyes open. Find out about the exits anywhere you go. Even here in restaurants, make it a habit, guys. Exit doors. Where are the exit doors? Even in the malls, in the restaurants, especially when there are kids. Where will you go? Sometimes the kids, they love to go their own way inside the mall. We're going this way, they're going that way. Did you ever talk to them where are we going to meet up in case communication goes down or there's a commotion in the mall? Have you ever really discussed it with them? Tip for hotels, a lot of these doors can be open. We made this a contest long ago, even those slide locks, it's true it can be open. I've done it myself. Rubber band, paper clip, and thumbtacks can open this chain door. Yung mga chain, that slide chain. And it's also in YouTube how to open it. So if the bad guy opens the door already, but it can't come through because there's a chain, there are techniques of how to, even using an envelope for this kind of locks. So the best solution, when you travel abroad, before you go abroad, go to Ace Hardware. Go to True Value. Spend less than 100 pesos on that item. Door plugs. The rubberized door plugs. See? You should hear the horror stories in China. And you're already in the hotel, somebody comes in, then accuses you of so many things. Everybody's in cahoots. They were able to enter your room. Put that. That's about 80 pesos. Heavy drapes protect from blast, especially car bombings, and drapes will protect you. And again, the same thing I said earlier, when you sleep, put it beside you. I saw this picture in the net. This lady put it all in a plastic bag and tied it up on the floor. Good idea. Floor posts and then bed posts. Good idea because the shaking might make it go all over the place, right? So even when you travel, make sure you have bags ready to carry and get out. Forget the big bags. At least you have a smaller bag containing the items, okay? And then, if the earthquake happens, you can always get your pillow, cover it. If you want to roll over the bed, pwede rin. Roll over the bed on the side, pull the blanket, pull the pillow, cover your head. Okay? So, like most beds don't have, that space under. Even if there is, I won't fit there anyway. So just roll over the bed. Beautiful bathrooms in the hotels. What if the earthquake happens and all those glass breaks like that? And you're totally naked. How are you going to do it? How? You're totally naked, you're taking a shower, earthquake happens, lid on the glass is broke, something like this, all glass. How do you get out? Well, simple trick. Most bathrooms have always towels in them. Towels. Reach with a towel, put it on the floor, step on it, and like skating out. Get it? Don't you dare walk in that glass. You're not a magician. You'll be running out of there with blood. Simple trick. Get a towel, put it on the floor, step on it, and slide out. I think it's going to slide, right? It should slide. Okay, so again, basic tips when you go abroad. Pass through secured and well-lighted walkways, even here in the Philippines. If you notice someone following you, go straight to a place with people. Always walk, even when you jog. Always go against traffic. Make sure you see the cars. Don't walk with the cars here. You don't know if somebody's going to grab you or a car went haywire. like those Monteros going wild, go this way, always against traffic. You see things more, okay? And obviously, when you change money abroad, be a little conscious if there are people around or you can get in trouble. I always carry a fake wallet with a few coins, money. Really, even here. I don't even put my ID there because he might go back and look for me and say, hey, you didn't put any money here. See? Seriously. But seriously, I even do this when I go to the province, especially with a little people from the mountains. You know, sometimes they conduct their own checkpoints and then they get their wallet. They say, oh, you're with the Philippine Navy? You're in trouble. You'll be the next hostage, boy. I put a different ID there. See? But make sure you have the same face, huh? You put an ID there, it's not your face. Okay. So, situational awareness is also one of the few last slides. Practice this, guys. Situational awareness. Anywhere you go. Anywhere you go. When you sit in a restaurant, when you go out, when you go to the gym, it's not like, duh. You know, be aware. Simple. What if you could predict that an event is about to take place and be one step ahead as the event unfolds? Would it be nice? Guys, you only see this in the movies, but in real life, it can be practiced. You see those spy movies with... No, everybody has situational awareness. In fact, when we were kids, when we were younger, when we want to escape, cut class, we're situationally aware. Where we're going to go, we're going to meet up, especially those classmates of mine in Colegio San Agustin will end up in quad car park. We're situationally aware because chances are we might bump into somebody's tita and we get reported. Okay? So paying attention to your surroundings, situational awareness increases your response time to safely handle an unexpected event. Basically, it means know what is going on around you. That's situational awareness. Okay, now when you go abroad, please look for the Filipino Association, OFW meetup places, Filipino stores, Filipino restaurants, hospitals has a lot of Filipinos, as you know, the nursing community, and churches or Sunday masses. So when you're caught in a country, trapped in a country, in a foreign land, hopefully the spirit of bayanihan kicks in among the Filipinos. Of course, the embassy, don't look for the embassy in the last minute. Before you even get there, find out where they are. Okay, mabuhay and stay safe. I'm Ferdinand Juan. If you need, contact me. This is my information. Actually, that's my calling card, the biggest calling card, Rex. I hope I was able to. I'm sorry I was rushing because I was told by Rex was good. So, again, you've been wonderful. I hope you learned something today. And I'd like to thank your community. To be honest with you, I was telling Rex earlier, I was following him on Facebook, how much the Chamber's been doing help here in the Philippines, helping your kababayans, helping us in times of needs. We know what you're trying to do, help even in Marawi. And hopefully, my wish for you guys is assemble yourself, organize yourself as a community. Because we fear when the big one happens, I hate to say this, it's going to be cultural again. There's going to be the Indian community, Pinoy community, the Chinese community. You got to stick together to be strong. Because it's really yo-yo. You are on your own. All right? Thank you very much, and I hope you have a safe day ahead of you.
Okay, so can I request you to stay here first? Sorry, thank you, Dino. So, thank you, everybody. One thing that we really appreciate was the silence and the attention of everyone. It's very important that we listen to Dino, and we all understand that we need to be prepared. So, definitely, I'm sure a few of you have questions. Please, do ask your questions. I'm going to call up the VP, one of our VPs, Mr. Manish Metani, VP for International Affairs. Sorry. And everyone, please give a round of applause for Manish Metani, please. Thank you.
Dino, thank you.
Salamat.
This was our third time, my wife and I, to be privileged to be in one of your sessions, and I got to say we were glued because your content is probably the most useful thing, as Rex mentioned earlier, that any one of us can take home. So I'm going to start this off, with your permission, with some of my own questions that I've gathered while the seminar is going on and even before. The first one I'd like to ask is, In the event that we have persons with disabilities, PWDs, and you mentioned in the first 30 seconds and 3 minutes, what would be the best response, whether we should wheel them out, some cannot walk, or some are aged or disabled, so how do we respond?
Okay. With my work in the condominium market, I discovered a lot of elderly already in condominiums. PWDs, wheelchair, okay, who needs to be carried. A lot of them are actually in condominiums. This is one challenge on how to evacuate them. And some of them have caregivers, but we're not sure if the caregivers are trained to take action in case of emergency, in case of disasters. No? To be honest, there are ways. For instance, a wheelchair. The locking procedure of the wheel so that you won't move forward. If you can get something, even a book to cover your head, or even your bag to cover your head. It's really the head that's most important to protect, okay? But how to bring them down is like asking me, how do you evacuate the hospitals? Come to think of it, it's like asking, how do you bring out every patient who are in the bed, especially with no elevator? There are new equipments now that they make it slide. It's really just like a surfboard with a strap. And they put it, you slide it slowly down the stairs with ropes. There are ropes, no? We can move here. There are ropes, and it slides down, no? But we have a long way to go. Even children with, special children, even that's the case. Those with, anong tawag natin doon? Autism, okay? See, we have to, maybe, here's my challenge to you. India is also disaster prone. You have knowledge, know-how, techniques, ideas. Perhaps we can research and share it here. The first time I saw a flotation device after Ondoy was from India using Coke bottles put inside the shirt. And we said, we never thought of that. And it was a gentleman from India who used plastic bottles and he floated, putting it inside literally his shirt and tucking his shirt. He floated. We never thought of it. Come to think of it, such a simple, brilliant idea. Now the thing is, how can we work as two people? And I saw that building bridges between India and the Philippines. Well, disaster preparedness can be one of the playground on this. See, you have equipment in India. You have ideas, techniques that can be. How can we bring it here and employ it here? It's a good question, and I'm sad to say that I have a PWD nephew, totally blind. Who's gonna guide him? Things change in the house when it moves. He's no longer used to the same. Hey, the sofa used to be here, now it's over here. When it moves, you realize that things will move. He will be disoriented. See? How about our loved ones in condos, condominiums? How will they be evacuated? That is a real challenge, sir. I don't have the answers right now, but it's a challenge.
Thank you, Dino. Well, whatever insights you shared, those are good leads. And I think for all of us who do have PWDs at home or friends or relatives around,
right,
we really have to be creative in ways of finding solutions based on our own footprint, the places we stay. So that's an interesting thought. The second question I have for you is, for the longest time, there's this term that I've come across even prior to the Viber and WhatsApp era, when emails used to circulate. And this term that I came across is known as the triangle of life. So can you expound on that, please? Is there truth to it? Is it a myth?
Sadly, Doug Kopp is the name of the gentleman, has cases filed against him, even during 9/11. Frauds, and that's why it's hard to accept what he's saying. Like, he claimed he went to this disaster zone. Being caught in that triangle is after the fact. It's just, you're lucky you were right there in that portion, that the collapsed structure, and you were saved in that void. Okay. The thing is, we're saying, even the professionals saying, even before you get to that void, the triangle, if your head gets hit, It takes only 8 pounds or 2 kilos to crack your skull. A bottle of 1 liter of water is already 1 kilo. So it's really just, after the fact that you're in the triangle, right? Even the American Red Cross has already debunked that. And you can Google. What we were wondering, it really spread after the earthquake, the triangle of life. You'll just be lucky if you're really caught in that. And it's true, there are rescues that they survive because a classic example is my neighbor, Mrs. Rocco, the wife of Senator Rocco. She was telling me, she went to pick up her bag from sitting position because she was going to go to the ladies' room. She felt somebody push her. She didn't know it was already the earthquake. And she was pushed because of the force. And when she tried to stand up, she was in that void. But sadly, unfortunately, the gentleman beside her was caught between the table and the beam. So obviously he died. For, I think, 2 or 3 days, she was beside that body. But because of that movement, she was pushed by the force of the quake. So it's really, my deal with you is still the same. Wherever you are, it's hard to look for a triangle of life here and run there. Come to think of it. See? You may be in your car, you may be in the mall. It's the head. Your head. Protect your head. There are a lot of veins here. A lot of, veins that are pumping. But if you get wounded, you start to panic. Okay?
Thank you, Dino. I'd like to open the floor to questions now. Does anybody have a question for Dino? Rex, please.
Rex.
Dino, can you expound just a little more on what you taught us in Sobel, where, say, a child is in one location, the mom is in another place, the dad's in another place, and you count the earthquake as minute 0 or hour 0,
okay.
And how they now move on and they go to a place, they wait 30 minutes, and they go to another place, they wait 30 minutes, until they all end up meeting in a certain place.
Great. Tomorrow is Sunday. And you will be having normally family gatherings. Please sit down with the little ones, the children, get a piece of paper, and write down what's your daily schedule. Where will you be? Okay? Like, you'll be in the office, the kids will be in school, so on. You gotta draw up that list first. Then, you'll find out who is nearest, let's say, the eldest son. Who is nearest the second daughter, maybe, or second child, and so on and so forth. The idea what Rex is saying is finding out who's nearest who can reunite right away. You see, if you're alone, it's really terrible. But if you start getting your family members, even as a mother, your peace of mind will really be calmer. So you try to find out, just like what I said earlier. I have my wife in the daytime is in Glorieta. I have a daughter in BGC, a son in Lasal. I am based in Quezon City. My other son is in Ateneo, and so on and so forth. So we sat down and talked. Okay, now here's what Rex is saying. You try to play it in your mind, called disaster imagination. If I'm going to walk from my office to the school, just let's say in Alabang, if I'm going to walk from Philinvest to, let's say, Lasal Sobel to get to my child, my son, how long will it take and where will I pass? Same with my wife, who, let's say she works also in the area. But if she works farther, that's just out of the story. You try to compute. Now, normally we say, that will be a good 30 minutes walk. In a disaster, times 2, maybe times 3. It will take you longer because you have to avoid debris or avoid places. So you start counting. From the time the earthquake hits, that's your 0 hour, 0 minute. And all the children in the house should have the same synchronized. No? So we say, son, it will take me about an hour to get to you. So if the earthquake hits at 3, if I get down my building and I start walking, expect me there about 4:30. You follow me so far? When we were younger, our age group, Rex, we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have pagers. And yet when we go walking around Quad those days, when we say, hey guys, we just escaped from school. We gotta be here at Magnolia Kiosk by 3 o'clock. Huh? For some strange reason, your body clock tells you it's almost 3 o'clock. Okay? Today you do those things. Hey, let's go to Subic. We'll catch each other in the gas station where the Burger King is. If you're leaving this time, I'm leaving this time, chances are, by the time you get there, I get there too. This is the same thing you're going to do, like what Rex is saying. You plan it. Who's going to get there? How long will it take? All right? Now, that's called reunification. If you follow me, it's a core. But you cannot do this during the earthquake. It has to be done before the earthquake. And it's nice if you write it down. Who's going to go to who? The worst part is nobody gets picked up. And the child is still left in school. We found out that teachers, their attention span is only 1 hour. 1 hour before they snap out and say, what am I doing with 35 students who are not even my children? Well, my own daughter or son is out there in another school. She's going to walk out. Let's reverse. If you were the teacher, will you stay? When your own child is in another school, would you stay? I will leave. So you got to make plans. Who's going to go there? Who's going to get, where you're going to meet up? Now, the difficulty with that solution is if you're very mobile, like you're a salesman, you're everywhere. You're on field assignments. But if you have a more or less a definite schedule, routine, it's easy to plan. Children are routine. They're always there in school. Some businessmen, they're always in the office or in the factory. But some are always traveling, moving around the city. It's hard to pin them down. So there are a lot of tricks. But the best part there, Rex, is you practice it during peacetime. Practice it during peacetime. Simulate it. I have a family who drove and showed the kids where to walk from Xavier and Ika to get to Corinthians. Yeah. They showed the kids, this is where you're going to walk. Wait for us here at the corner of Ortigas. Those things, they really did it. And they simulated it. They simulated it. One Sunday. So that's one way of doing it. Practice it. Try it. Because guys, I tell you, remember the Paris bombing? Bombing in Paris a few years ago? Well, my daughter was on a travel tour because she's they call it influencer, blogger. She's the one in Philippine Airlines. So she went to Paris. In her Facebook posting was, excited to go to Paris. She was in Lyon. I opened the TV. It's always been my habit. CNN. Morning, Paris was bombed. I couldn't reach her. I couldn't find her. All my military discipline went out the window as a father. It was enough to drive me crazy. Then, in the afternoon, she posted, finally, she overslept in Lyon. She missed the train. She didn't leave. But see, that hour of not knowing is enough to drive even a general in tears. I tell you, we have a saying in disaster. We're all good people. We're all good people. But if you start hearing your own children crying in hunger, you would also resort to looting. It's just that for the rich, we call it foraging. The looting is for the poor people, they said. For the rich people, they classify it as foraging. But I tell you, all my years here, this is something we take for granted. But when it's our own family, our own children are involved, your logic will really go crazy. So before the stressful situation, plan it, just like what Rex said. Talk to your children. Find out where they are. Last night, my kid went to a party. I had to explain to him, I'm not asking where you're going because I'm spying on you. I need the address even in Ayala Heights because if something happens, I know where I'll get you. It's just a matter of explaining to them, for them to understand. They always think that that's my privacy and we're going to go drinking. It's not the point. I just need to know where I'm going to go rescue you in case something happens. Okay? You understand the situation?
Thank you, Dino. So, is there like a reunification template that we can use?
Sure. We can distribute that, Rex. Let me make a new one, give it to your secretariat. It's a fill-in-the-blanks reunification template. Very good. We did that yes. And we can, you know what, that's a good idea. We can even, do you have a quick idea, guys? Try to find out among your members strategic locations around the city. A warehouse, maybe an office. we're trying to do this in Rotary now. If your child is caught somewhere, he knows or she knows who is the nearest member of the chamber to go to, an uncle member. You follow where? See? If in LaSalle, if there's somebody studying UST, where's the nearest member of the chamber that they can go to? Rex, when radio communication is up, because they are allowing it already, just imagine you can call and say, yung anak ni Rex nandito, well and good, she's safe. So they broadcast it to your office, and my goodness, I tell you, this is like a big burden out. Fine, at least he's there, safe. You following my, use your chamber, the different members, as a safe haven, as a safe home for your children, where they can go in case they're caught outside. Not even for the kids, even for yourselves. Okay? And when we do that, part of that planning, bro, is, let's say you have a daughter in, let's say, Assumption, let's say. So we have a member just right across in Pasay Road, something like that, okay? Or a home in Bel Air, or a home in San Lorenzo, that they can be adopted. You follow me? That they can be adopted. It's going to be very dark after a major earthquake. It's going to be very eerie. Okay? The worst thing is for the children to be left outside. Okay?
Thank you, Dili. Anybody else has a question? Yes, the young lady there.
So the foundation of our school is like really bad. So what if like a really bad earthquake happens? What are we supposed to do? They expect us to go straight under those super small desks, and in our school there are like things hanging on the ceiling. So what if one of those things like fell on us?
Okay.
The desk won't be able to support it.
All right. I will not ask your question or your name, but I will ask what school. And I promise you, I will not tell the school. In Pasig? In Pasig, no? Well, number one is like what LaSalle did and Assumption did. They really went to check everything, including the hallways, even the lockers that can fall. The kids, they have lockers. It wasn't fastened on the wall. Things like what you said, as simple as the overhead projector. There should be an engineer in school that will check that to see. Okay? There are new protocols now in school. Before the duck cover and hold, the student nearest the door swings it open and puts a chair. Because now of the problem with the door jam. Most of the schools are air conditioned, so the door is always closed. So some schools have employed that protocol. Then during the shaking, duck cover and hold, the nearest to the door swings it open, puts a chair there so that it will be left open. See? I saw a school today, they changed the glass on the cabinet. The one with the chicken wire. It's like a glass with chicken wire. Before it used to be just plain glass. Okay? These things can be done. So when you read laboratories, you check. You know that even in your house you have chemicals. Even in your kitchen you have Clorox, you have those other items, no? Vinegar. There's certain combination of those chemicals can turn into toxic fumes. Seriously. Is it vinegar mixed with baking powder or something? So check your bathroom, even those cleaners. You're trapped in your room, those chemicals mix and started to produce fumes. You know what's next. So little details. Imagine that, especially in the garage and the laundry area. There's several toxic chemicals there. Mixed together is bad. On their own, it's not. Okay. So going back to the question of the young lady, perhaps your parents can ask the school for, can we run an inspection, an engineering inspection? It's really just basically common sense. If things are going to fall, like I'm worried about this, well, I hope they don't fall. These hanging things here. Okay. So, yes, sir.
May I?
Yes, Uncle, please.
Many years back, it was about 25 years back, we were in Toronto on the 32nd floor. And at about 2 o'clock in the morning, in the pitch dark of our room, we heard, "This is an emergency, it's an emergency. please go down the exit on the 32nd floor. It was an eternity before we could reach the ground floor, and when we did, our entire body was paining. But never mind, that's irrelevant. I wanted to ask you the pros and cons staying in a condominium vis-a-vis a bungalow. In an eventuality of an earthquake, what would you suggest is safer? A high-rise condominium or a bungalow?
Okay, sir. A very good question. First, I would ask both bungalow and the condo. How was it built? Because based on study, more of the 4-story and below will collapse because of the pancake effect. We call it pancake, like pancakes on top of each other. Okay? The condos, is it a modern condo? I mean, recently built or
usually the condominiums today are modern vis-a-vis the bungalows located in villages
okay.
are 20, 30, 40
Yes.
years old.
Yeah.
And during an earthquake, I have always told my children that I'm in favor of living in bungalows rather than staying in condominiums. Why? Because invariably all the fire departments, their nozzle does not go beyond the 10th floor. So what happens if you're on the 15th floor, you don't have a parachute? What are you going to do? So what's your opinion, sir?
Okay.
Looking at the pros and cons, which is safer?
All right. No, for condo dwellers, okay? My own daughter is in a condominium on the 24th floor. There are pros and cons, and I was told one time, when you look at 365 days in a year, when is this critical moment? And I go, yeah, but maybe once, but that is very critical, you see? So, there are pros and cons. So you're correct. Like we had a fire in a condo a few weeks ago here in Ross Boulevard, and they couldn't extinguish it because it was simply too high. No? Condo, after an earthquake, may stand, but as I said earlier, sustaining the facility, water, generator, will be very limited. So still, you have to go down. Same with a bungalow. But the thing is, you have to climb up and down, which I'm not going to do, for the road. That's why up to now, I still live in a 2-story house.
Therefore, what you're trying to say is a bungalow is safer.
For me, it is, sir.
That's why you prefer to stay in
Yes, sir. Bungalow well made, okay? Just like this, sir. The houses in Forbes Park are well made. You know what worries me inside the houses? I saw a house with its own statue inside. I saw a house with chandelier bigger than this one. Those are the things that can fall. I saw a house in Bel Air, all modern glass, but the bed of the child is by the glass, by the window. These are the things that will hurt you, but the building structure will stand. It's the items inside that you have to watch out for.
But considering the structure of the condominium that also has glass,
Yes, sir.
and the bungalow also has glass, between the two, what would you prefer?
I'll still stay on the lower one.
Thank you, sir.
Balraj, go ahead, please.
I'm Balraj.
Raj?
I'll come directly to the question of condominiums again. It's a follow-up from Mr. Hero's question. I'm staying in Ritz Towers, Makati. So I guess it's perhaps one of the oldest condominiums in the city, maybe 30, 35 years.
Mm-hmm.
So according to you, what do you think at the time of the eventuality of the big one? Is this condominium going to withstand that shock? Or is there any eventually that you have seen any events where the condominiums collapsed altogether?
Okay, sir. There was a a change in the building code, I believe in 1997. Okay? And your building has been there in the 80s, it's already there. I remember that. I have friends living there. That's why I said in the slides earlier, please request your property manager to ask them if they already have the structural integrity report, which is actually a requirement of the city now. There are companies like, who did that? Boise, C Squared, no? C Squared. I always see C Squared company, it's a structural engineering company, in a lot of the papers. They inspect the building and give it a rating. Okay. There's no harm to have it checked because like that has been built, I remember in the 80s it was already there. So I said the code was changed in 97 to make it more adaptable for the the strong earthquake. Now the thing is, get this, school of thought. After the earthquake, we had a big forum at Polo Club. PDRF, Philippine Disaster Foundation. Everybody was there. Even the Americans were there. A doctor, something from USGS, told us that in America, they don't evacuate even a 7.2. And I said, what? Yes. It's more dangerous for us to run down, stampede, have falling glass on you as you go out. So where do you stay? In the rooms. You're not afraid of the building to collapse? Simple answer. Our buildings are on standards. And the Japanese in the corner said, same with ours. And the Filipinos laugh. Nervous laugh. Because we all know very few really follows the code. See? And if your building is rated for a magnitude 8, stay there. I will not name you the embassy. The embassy that I'm handling in along Ayala. They are on the, I think, 27th floor. And it will take them 27 minutes to go down. And you know what's the instruction from head office, from home country? Use the 27 minutes to secure your documents in the embassy. After 27 minutes, when the stairwell is clear, go down. Has a point. Because Boise did also the structural integrity, and it stated there, designed for 7.2 magnitude. So why would you go? Your next problem is fire. But it's not going to be like a towering inferno fire right away burning. It's going to be by room, and you have sprinkler systems. So it's going to be a contained fire per room, just like in a condominium. Okay? So there are different approaches here. Different approaches. The best step, sir, is to have the thing. I did your neighbor, Pacific. That's the first thing I did, and they have C-squared also for that. And a lot of people in wheelchair there too, and a former first lady in a wheelchair. So how do you do that? Yes, sir. They call it structural integrity. They come to you hire them, they look at the structural papers, blueprints, report, and then do some testing to find out really if it's designed or somebody cheated. You know?
And there's some specific companies that we can...
Yes, sir. There are structural engineering companies doing that now, sir.
So that would be the best way would be to just look for structural integrity companies to
find out how your building is.
But if it's a private home,
you can also
private.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. With a private, they don't normally get the same builders or the architect because, of course, it's going to be one-sided. You take a third party to inspect it.
Please.
Sorry. So C-squared, Boise is a good friend of mine, and I actually referred him to LaSalle. He is one of the best companies in the Philippines. He does all the big buildings in Makati. We probably are going to be able to negotiate a special rate for the chamber. Just after this earthquake, I had him do ours. The checkup will cost you roughly about $25,000 to check, right? But it's worth doing, especially for our homes that are a little older, built before the code. So it's something to think about. Those that need to contact C-squared, please do let me know, and I'll give you the contact information. Just to address your point of asking for that reports from building managers, unfortunately, in the Philippines, the best building managers are still horrible. And a lot of them will not have this information. So if you're looking at condominiums, if you're looking at schools, it's important for us to actually assert and demand to a certain extent from the school and the association to have the buildings checked. So if you're a resident or you're a parent at the school, you actually have that right to make those demands that the structures where our kids stay or where we live is actually checked out. Thank you. Sorry.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Earlier, I heard you mention that the fault line is passing through Lanuza Street, Pasig.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Ortigas area. And
Yes.
I am one of the residents from that area while I was there. So we have a drill from our village as well as from the Pasig Municipal Hall about a year ago. So we were all told the residents were to accumulate once happened. And unfortunately, the fault line passes through our village also. And one of the residents, which is our friend, passes through exactly through his house. Now, my house, the fault line is about 20 meters on the right side of my house. Just want to know, does it matter 20 meters if the fault line is not exactly passing through? Does it matter during earthquake? Or it will be same for everybody?
Okay. Actually, we told FIBOX that the 5 meters to 5 meters on both sides is quite confusing the public. If your house is literally on top of the fault, you're 100% sure it will be multi-level after the movement. It will move. I can show you pictures of homes right beside a fault. Nothing happened. Concrete house. But his side of the other side, about 20 meters, moved. But nothing happened in the house. I can also show you pictures of houses miles away from the fault, but was destroyed. Case in point was Pampanga, the grocery store that went down. Remember the grocery store? Yes. The structures around it was not touched. And they were able to recover, and I was able to watch the CCTV of that store, that grocery store, and the first shaking, right away, then camera went dead. It means it was really poorly built. And yet the houses around it, no damage. So what I'm saying is it value 4? 3. Yeah, but value where? No, value 1. Ah, there, okay, on the end of Lanusa. Yes, okay, I got you, okay. Well, as you know, sir, to be honest, it will also depend on the structure of your house. If a sudden jump, you know, it's, as I said, it's going to be slow motion. It's going to be a sudden throw. Will it be able to withstand the findings of the Japanese study? 40% of the residential houses will be destroyed. 40%. This is basing it on the ground quality, the soil, all of this, no? But as I said, it will really depend on how it was built, the house.
It's around 30 years back, I guess.
Again, the same as like what Rex said, you really have to get a structural engineer to see. A lot of the houses that collapsed, even in Pampanga, were on the first floor because of the pancake effect. As the earth through your house, it went down, go up again, and then here comes the second round of the earth going pancake. That's why it's called a pancake. It usually gives up on the first floor.
My second question is, there are different kind of earthquakes.
Correct.
Yeah. So, considering we are expecting an earthquake any moment because it's now probably can happen, that's why we are prepared earlier also last year. Is there something we can predict what kind of earthquake is going to hit now in Metro Manila, if ever?
Oh, God. Oh.
It's a vertical, like in Bohol happened. The levels went up and down. Or it's going to be shallow earthquake. The earth will shake more. Something like that.
Okay.
Any idea?
I forgot to mention, I'm sorry. There are 3 episodes of an earthquake. The first one is the foreshock. Okay? The first one is the foreshock. Next is the main shock. And then finally, aftershocks. Many. Sometimes we don't feel the foreshock, but the equipment will detect it. And then comes the main shock. Okay? Sometimes we think it's the main shock right away. Pwede, possible. It's the main shock right away. There was no introduction or a foreshock. That is why we're saying that when you feel the earthquake, it will take time for FIBOX to tell us, number one, where it came from, what's the intensity or magnitude, or if it's a foreshock. That's why we always say, you might as well go out, because for all you know, that's only a foreshock, and here comes the main shock after a few hours, maybe after a few minutes. Nobody knows. The thing is, there's really no equipment yet. There's playing around with the equipment that can detect P wave, but that will only give you something like 15 seconds to 30 seconds warning. As soon as it hits here, it will be transmitted by radio at lightning speed to an alarm center that will go off. But that only bought you 30 seconds maybe. And according to the presentation to us, you need several of these with high-speed computers to detect and to find out the general direction. Okay? So really, to be honest, that's why earthquake is really the traitor of all hazards. Never tell you when, how. The West Valley Fault maybe will not move for the next 100 years. Maybe 200 years. Maybe tomorrow. Nobody knows. But the thing is, what got us all our attention was it already made its presence felt, as I showed you here. Just like nobody believed the late Dr. Punong Bayan that Pinatubo will go off. Only the Americans believed him. The rest of the Filipinos laughed at him. And when it happened, it happened. Same thing here. You know the saying, it's better to bring an umbrella but it doesn't rain? Let's bring an umbrella, so what if it doesn't rain? And remember this, it wasn't raining when Noah built the ark. It wasn't raining. See? So, it's just like buying insurance. We buy insurance for our car, for our homes, for ourselves. It's just like buying insurance. But this is something you prepare. Not only for yourself, not only for me, but for the little ones. For the little ones, really. And they say we're going to see it in our lifetime. That's the scary part that Dr. Solidum said. We will experience it in our lifetime. See? So that means what? Not us, meaning the children already 10 years old, another 50 maybe.
We have a young audience today, so.
All right. Next, we'll take a few more questions, but then we have to. Okay, so let me go here first. Two.
Thank you for this very interesting talk. In line with what you mentioned earlier about what happened at Porac, the supermarket, there's a lot of talk about Clark Development Corporation choosing that site specifically because it's very resilient to natural disaster. So I'd just like to ask you, in your studies or in your analysis, is this really the case with Clark and Porac and that general area?
Yes, sir. Okay. The Zambales earthquake was an unknown fault. Can you imagine that? They didn't know there was a fault there. See, there's a lot of mystery. Maybe even here in Manila, we have a fault we don't know. Okay? First, that's the first one. Now, we have to rewrite the plans for Clark. Why? Because the government center that I'm proud to say I was part of the planning, that, when you come up with a designated survivors scenario, they say Pinatubo would take another 300 years to go off. And Clark doesn't flood, and that's why the Americans chose it. But see, now, as I said, there's a God in heaven giving us a preview of things. The water crisis, internet, now the earthquake. Now suddenly everybody's saying, oops, I don't think Clark is a good idea then. See? But the new city is not in Clark, it's all the way in Tarlac. In Capas? Okay. Where the SEA Games will be done. But again, I go back to the same way. You're correct, sir. I think it's time to go back to the drawing board and the only place in the Philippines without a fault line? Palawan. Palawan is the only place in the Philippines without a fault line. You want to hear a secret? Because Palawan is not part of the Philippines. Millions of years ago, it came from China. That's probably why they're dead.
Thank you.
No, it's not. It's true, sir. It was pushed out like this.
Right. Relative to the geology of Metro Manila.
Yes,
so, Manila Bay would liquefy, at least the filled-in area over there.
Yes,
and
sir.
to the east would be the fault lines.
Yes, sir.
Geologically speaking, what would be the safest part of Metro Manila? Would it be the adobe-built side, or would it be the softer side, made of mud?
I spoke to the structural engineer that built the Mall of Asia. They said that the foundation of Mall of Asia is all the way to the bedrock. It's a reclaimed area. If you recall, it was a reclaimed area, no? But they hit the bedrock for the foundation. What is scary are the roads going to MOA because, that's just laid up cement. And it will buckle because of the liquefaction. So anything in Intramuros, Manila Bay, U.S. Embassy, Cultural Center, our own Philippine Navy, that's liquefaction. All the way even to Pasay, because that used to be part of the bay. That's still water, soft ground. Remember the building that tilted on UN Avenue, United Nations Avenue, the Emilio Aguinaldo, kissed the other building? That's all the way in UN, but the ground is soft. Then you talk of, how about adobe? Basically, they say, our friends from geology say, the adobe is more stable. BGC is adobe. Quezon City is adobe. Makati, part of Makati is adobe. Okay? They say it's more stable. But again, if you did not do your foundations right, even if your flooring, your footing is adobe, but your foundation work is not good, it will still move. It will boil down again to how it was done. The foundation, how it was done. Did you do it right? You did not cheat on the construction materials, the mix, the size of metal, steel. It will again boil down to that. But for the liquefaction, sir, I'm afraid that David said it will really, move. The ground will really soften up. It's just liquid. And you have to remember this. The reason people like me is having a hard time convincing our society is because the last time Metro Manila was totally destroyed was World War II. We never had a Yolanda-like that brought us down. We never had a super earthquake that brought Manila down. Never. That's why the people of today, it's like, nah, it's not gonna happen. Because they never experienced it. So, I don't know I would prefer to stay on you're correct, on the adobe side. Just for peace of mind. Sir?
Last two. Sir, when it comes to building construction, do you have any data in terms of earthquake resiliency if a purely concrete structure is more resilient or less resilient than a structure with steel?
Okay. I'm not an engineer, but lately I've been call me crazy. I've been researching on what's a resilient home for my family to go to or bug out place. I used to own a restaurant called Pier 1 at the fort, made of shipping containers. I figured out, what if I use a container? It could withstand the transport, the shaking, the movement. I mean, I can make it nice, make it really look like a nice modern home. See, you were probably wondering why I put 5 days of stock in my house. I forgot to mention I don't plan to stay in Manila after the shaking. On the 3rd day, I'll move out with my children. Because on the 5th day, I'm sorry, children, the human body smells the dead. According to Ateneo de Manila, I just go off a little bit, the Institute of Sustainability of Ateneo, they call it migration to nowhere. People just walk out of the city, going nowhere. Just like what happened to us in Tacloban. And I'm not going to put my children here. Why the 3rd day? It's not because the 3rd day he rose again. It's because on the 3rd day I probably have enough information from radio, news, which roads are open. We have a little place out in Rizal. My mom is there. We have a little garden there with food. We have deep well, we have generators, we have sleeping areas. We have chickens. My mom sold her house in Dasma. She's getting all these asthma attacks, so she moved there. And it's a very good place, walkable. You can walk probably a whole day. A lot of my friends are doing the same thing, going south, in case if Manila goes down. They don't care if they're going to walk, ride a bicycle. They're going out to Silang, maybe some in Tagaytay. Because it's going to be no man's land. I tell you. You tell me the situation, I tell you the situation, it's going to be chaotic. And panic sets in. You have to remember, when we rescue flood victims, in a matter of hours, I have personally retrieved cadavers from drowning victims. Problem with collapsed structure, you got to dig them. You got to use jackhammers. You talk of 33,000 people dead. And we don't even have the management of the dead and missing. Where are you going to put them when they start to smell? I put Vicks Vapor Up white flour up my nose in Tacloban. It doesn't work. You could still smell it. It's really bad. Really bad. And just imagine you have that in Metro Manila. It's going to be one chaotic thing. I'm going to bring my family out, then come back and report to my unit. So the question is, what is stronger, cement or a nicely built concrete? Steel. We got to go back to the drawing board again and ask the experts, the engineers. But the only reason I said containers, because they're commercially available and easy to come by, and put them just like my old restaurant. I think it's going to be tough. That's my Noah's Ark. Okay?
Last question.
Is it true that the city of Manila the soil there is not strong enough to have high-rise buildings, let's say like 15-floor buildings, especially in the Santa Ana district, where it's like the part where it's opposite the Pasig River?
Pasig River. Yeah.
Yes.
Again, we'll have to go back to engineers. First, the one that will test the ground, quality of the soil. Then you get to the foundation, the structures, architects, and everything. I'll be an incompetent or say opinion maker on that, but you really have to go back to engineering and find out from them, will it be safe? But as you see, a lot of high-rise going up in the Santa Ana area. It's a lot. Just think of this, even this area is still, when you look at the maps, NOAA, we call it NOAA's map from the DOST, this area, airport, is still considered soft ground. It used to be water a long time ago. This used to be part of the bay. Okay, so.
All right. So you want to take this? Go ahead. Just want to say thank you to Dino. And I'll turn it over to Mahesh.